Welcome back to the Saturday Ironheart Merchant Company, Session 38, A Holy War for the Ages, burp not intended. Last time we left off, the party started off in the fort that they had managed to kind of set up and camp out during a siege from a small, what they found to be a small vanguard of these warhounds and hellhounds that were coming to attack the fort outside of Knighton, or a few days from Knighton. Having managed to hold off those creatures, the party having had a bit of a rest and taking a moment, they came back together to begin planning their defense with Rollman as well as Melvin kind of finally joining the party. However, as quickly as the party began to prep their bear traps, which actually, no, you don't have your bear traps because they got left behind at the fort, and so did the snares.
Correct. I already took those off my sheet.
Man, that sucks. No, that's just DM moment of realization. I didn't realize that. No worries. Yeah. Sorry, what was that, Cheston?
I was saying we had to run so suddenly. I would have grabbed one, but I don't think it would have mattered.
No. But yeah, as you lot kind of started to gather together, getting yourselves kind of situated as well, unfortunately, as the party would try to speak to Kaijin, learning a little bit of information, finding out a good bit about what was going on, though that would lead to its own issues as well as its own development, as the party's conversation was almost completely wiped, except for, I believe, James, who succeeded the save.
Yep.
Though, unfortunately, that James would find himself suddenly being attacked by strange, shadowy ghosts. I believe that actually technically happened before the Kaijin fight, because Rolleman showed up during that. But with the ghosts suddenly showing up, giving a haunting message to James, threatening to take his life or offer his life in exchange for another, the party would end up managing to fend off these creatures as they would vanish off. Rolleman suddenly turning back appearing from one of them, gagged and roped, as he managed to get himself set up and rejoin the party. With him, that was a hell of a background music. Oh, give me a second. Wrong pipe. Oh. Drinking coffee at the same time as I'm doing the intro. Apologies. With, Yep, I got you. God damn it. Why can't you guys do this before session? Fucking Jesus Christ. Ay. Alright. Well, now I lost... Oh, yes. As I was, saying, with the party having managed to then speak with Kaijin, having that wiped, the party from there on would find themselves trying to truly figure out what to do with the rest of the night as they began their long rest, with Rollman going out on patrol. With the party getting a full night's rest, Rollman getting a bit of time to look about the outside of the fort, and being able to get everything kind of checked out, and an eye on the situation overall, the party would unfortunately find themselves kind of almost rushed to an awakening come the next morning, with them seeing an apex monster, some sort of creature infused with lycanthropy. As the party happened to catch a view of this, they got to begin watching as big, narrow, and a large cat-like creature began to... I will smack the next person who pings me. I swear to God, I hear another message on my goddamn Discord. Stop interrupting me, whoever that is. Oh, yeah. Where? Fuck. Alright. Where was I? Shit. Yes. With the fight beginning, the party having seen this group these two adversaries beginning to club it out, the obvious Kaijin, disguised as Bolov, waiting at the front of the fort, watching for the creatures to come and attack him. The party, deciding that this was not worth the fight, decided to quickly make their way across the river as fast as possible, leaving, unfortunately, their poor Uncle Cinder behind to have to navigate around the river. As the party would find themselves onto the other side of the river, though, they ended up running into a group of what looked to be forest giants who were patrolling the area, interested in Litho Tara and her worship, trying to convince the party to join and worship her as they returned back to their group. telling a part about these great fire giants they were planning to cook up, and thankfully, due to some quick thinking from Melvin and a minor illusion spell, the party managed to quickly escape as the forest giants went hunting for these fire giants in the water. As the rest of the party would find themselves escaping, Cinder would return to the druids or to the forest giant camp, freeing the fire giants that happened to look a lot like Sunday's party, as they scattered into the woods. With Saturday deciding it wasn't worth kind of allying up with them. As the party would come back together, rejoining, getting onto Cinder's sleds, and managing to tie James down to the point where it would literally take him critically succeeding to untie himself. The party found themselves taking off at top speeds as Cinder began rushing as fast as he could, making camp throughout the next 7 days. Any chance that they saw groups of guards or patrols in the area, the party would find themselves traveling for the next 7 days, mostly uninterrupted, as they managed to make their way towards King's End. As we return after a 7-day journey, the day is the morning of the 23rd of the Awakening. It is still the month of March. It is still the year 65,008. And the party themselves have just managed to gain their long rest, waking up in the morning inside the inn of Bespra Snooking Inn, a simple inn with a second floor and a large chunk of it mainly covered in wood from the construction. Much of the first floor being bunk beds, with you lot having managed to pay about 4 silver pieces to get a bed each for in a room. As you spent the night, a calming and relaxing night, the heavy winter winds blowing past the snow kind of piling up outside as it did. Thankfully, things seem to go uneventful as you all awake and gather for the next morning, sitting around a table in the very busy inn, as many giants of all different races and walks of life go about their business. Heliovoli that seem to kind of be intermingled amongst them, as well as multiple kobold-like races. The barkeep themselves seem to be quite simple folk, not really much for conversation, coming over to drop off food and ale, as they do for many of the other customers, kind of leaving you lot to your own business as they go on.
All right. Order of business. Anything we're doing in town before taking a quest?
Not particularly, other than seeing if we can turn in the Hellhound job here.
I mean, we can go ask while we choose our jobs, I suppose. Stopping us.
Alright, because that way we can get paid for that and use that money possibly on some of the other jobs posted.
Lead the way.
James?
Leading the way.
Yeah, James, where are you heading? I was reading PMs that I'd been getting.
I was going to head towards the Adventuring Guild, as I was trying to pull up the name of it too at the same time.
There is not an adventuring guild in the city of King's End. So as you're trying to pull it up, I don't know what you're trying to pull up. Amongst the town, though, again, this is a pretty large town with a heavy forest outer exterior, and large water fountains that for the most part are currently frozen over that kind of set up amongst the town. But in the town itself, it has the large inn that you're in. About 3 separate smithies that have been set up. A large market square down by the docks. One of the larger churches of Ella Ugbo that have popped up a little bit further to the west of the main square, and then of course the castle where Og Brightwing has his manor kind of set off to the side in the center of town. There's also noted to be Oates Graveyard, which is still a quarantined off area by Og Brightwing's own military forces. Many of the catacombs underneath the graveyard still being explored by soldiers and such. But amongst the town, yeah, there isn't exactly an adventuring guild. For your own note, most of the jobs are either handed out by Og himself amongst those adventures, or those few jobs that are being posted up here in the inn for mercenary work and those who are passing through. Kind of looking over towards the board, you can see the posts that I posted earlier. Almost all being nothing but mercenary work.
The jobs are here that we can do. It doesn't look like I don't think we'll be able to turn our quest from Vilcomen in here.
I mean, does it really make a difference? We'll be turning in when we get over there anyway.
That's fair.
What are you thinking?
I guess because we discussed it, I'll pick up the one that says supply depot attack.
Cinder kind of gets up from the table, pushing through a few of the giants and such that are looking over the board, taking little tags off of the some of the missions.
James will walk up, make sure to grab cleanup and supply delivery.
Oh, I was just gonna grab all three, but all right, sure.
As you see Cinder
both
kind of
up
getting
there.
ready to reach for it, James, as you walk through, kind of snipping it off really quick or pulling it off really quickly. Cinder, you can kind of just see, gives you a little bit of a look, and then goes back to looking through the quests as he looks up at the board. Sorry, Willamette, what was your question?
I didn't have a question.
My apologies.
I'll also grab officer hunting and pass it and take that snippet over to Rollman.
Does officer hunting? I know it's not really. Does it mention anything about what these people look like and like how they identify them?
No, it does not. What you see, unfortunately, on the doc is what you get. It is a simple breakdown of the job itself and where you can gather information. The only thing listed on there that is not posted is for officer hunting. More like the rest of these missions, any mercenary missions or work can be explored or asked about at Og Brightwing's own castle or amongst any of his officers that are traveling amongst the town.
All right, sure, why not?
Would I be able to identify a guard captain or officer of the
Give me a profession mercenary.
army or whatever?
And can I check supply to see if we have to go to Og to get the carts that we're moving?
The supply depot, as you look it over, Go ahead.
The supply delivery.
My apologies.
5.
Got you. With the supply delivery, as you look it over, it does state that the wagons will be provided on the outskirts of town by a soldier. However, there is no confirmation of who you need to get the job from.
Sure, we'll figure it out. It's probably near a gate or something.
Well, as you think back, I will mention there are no walls around the city still. But to Rollman, profession mercenary, as you think for a second, I mean, generally officers are the most well-dressed, typically the best armored. So as you kind of think about it, I mean, look for the guy with the most gear or the most expensive gear, and good bet that's probably the guy you want to kill.
Okay. Alright, should we go find these carts we're going to be moving?
We should.
I mean, we can go look for the carts. If someone of us wants to go ask, apparently we can ask any officer about what these people exactly look like.
For the hunting them?
Yep.
I can do that.
All right. Sounds good.
Will they look for the carts?
I'll
be
wander
looking
off
for-
to the outskirts of town to find where these fucking carts are picked up.
Okay. As Cinder kind of gets up after looking over the quest with you, Lon kind of begins heading for the door. James and Rollman?
I'll go with you, and then once we have the carts in hand, we'll see if we can gather up some extra forces.
When you say go with you, who are you speaking to? Because
Uh-huh.
Cinder is walking away.
I'll be tagging along with Cinder in this instance.
I would say, if you don't want to be alone, I have an animal companion. Rollman's kind of just alone.
Okay, I'll stick with Rollman then, because that
Never
is
mind.
true. I'm heading with Rollman, and I will say that still follow that up with that.
Alright, and Cinder heads out, kind of petting Snow, and kind of heads out into the main street of the city. Rollman and James, as you look over the quest board, is there anything is there any of these that catches your attention that you want to go take care of?
Oh, we're gonna go look for Og's officer to one of Og's officers to better learn what an enemy officer would look like.
All right, give me a spot check real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And
10. Okay.
9.
All right. As the two of you kind of look about the tavern, nothing kind of catches your attention as there are just a lot of people kind of intermingling and moving about. As you look on, it seems almost strange how few guards or militia seem to be amongst the tavern itself. But as you take a look around, no one catches your eye for anybody that looked like they'd fit the bill in your mentality, Rollman.
okay, can we look outside?
Yeah, as you lot begin to head out into the main street, seeing Cinder heading towards the outskirts of the town. As you look about, give me another spot check between the two of you, as well as a listen check. There we go. All right. Between the two of you, as you begin kind of looking about, one of the guards, what looks to be a frost giant with what looks to be heavy leather armor mixed with different monster parts that have been sewn into it. A couple of what looks to be long scorpion, almost I forget what they're called, stingers. Seemingly hanging from the chest, about 3 of them, each of them looking as if they are dripping a strange liquid as you walk over, seeing him talking amongst a couple of Heliovoli that seem to be wearing similar armors. He kind of turns to you two as you walk over and looks up. His long white hair, big frosty beard, and what looks to be a pretty scarred and mangled up face kind of looks you both up and down as the guard captain kind of waits for you lot to speak.
Good morning, good sir. Is the language here common, most often used?
That's what,
or
yeah.
Giant?
Common or
Usually
giant
common.
seems to be the most common around here, yeah.
I'll use common. We were inquiring about the officer hunting quest, and would you be able to assist us in being able to better identify the different rankings against the enemy officers?
Give me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy. 11.
All right. He kind of looks at you up and down and goes, hi, you're the 5th person today. Yeah, if you're looking for anybody of decent ranking amongst Lithotara's followers, what we've been told and what we've managed to figure out, as he kind of looks you up and down with one of his good eyes. The other one seems to be kind of lazing a little bit behind at a bit slower of a speed. As he, excuse me, as he kind of looks you up and down and continues, he goes, the easiest way to tell is typically by the color of their skin. Most of these purple fellas typically seem to be marked amongst the higher ranks, given their natural brute force and magical capabilities. Beyond that, green skins are typically ranked up in 2nd, and then from there on it becomes kind of a kerfuffle, as a kind of way to put it, amongst the ranks. But mostly amongst giants, look for the bigger, the stronger, and the larger, and usually is the higher the rank.
All right, thank you.
He nods. He looks over at James and goes, and you, young man?
I was looking at the quest. I was going to ask the same thing as I'm with him. So, other than the supply depot attack, any information on where we're supposed to meet for that?
He looks at you, kind of like just deadpanned, and goes, do I look like the guy in charge of the supply depot attack?
Nope.
Hey, look! You must be a merchant. As he gives you a little bit of a smile. If there's nothing else, gentlemen, as he kind of turns back to his the two Heliovoli and begins kind of saying, kind of giving orders in Giant again to kind of keep the night patrols going a little bit longer. As he continues to explain to them in Giant, you hear something, a couple of snippets as he tries to quiet his voice, slightly noticing you two behind him still, and goes, the as we keep getting attacked by these damn Vanguard that the Cryptic Cabal can't seem to kill, I want you all to be on top alert, as they're only seeming to come out at night these days. As they seem to kind of give a nod to that, as they start to begin walking away from you, as he seems to like slightly turn, look at you two, and then kind of begins moving with them.
That's good information to have since we'll be traveling soon.
Well, I guess we'll follow after Cinder then, yeah. Unless you have anything else you want to do, James.
Only other thing that would interest me is greeting the Regans. Well, the person here swears fealty to the Regan, but there's no need for it. We can just head out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll follow after Cinder. If he's...
Alright.
Do we still see him, or is he like...
As you look on, he is nowhere to be seen, but as you kind of take your heading towards the eastern road that he was following, and start kind of going that direction, you expect you'll run into him pretty shortly. As you two start walking, keeping your eyes open as you do. Cinder, as we jump over to you real quick.
Yeah.
As you begin making your way through the roads, you do notice there seem to be a few more interesting followers amongst the rank, more religious folks, as you see black and white hoods, strange emblems kind of emblazoned on their hoods. As you're going about, give me a knowledge religion check as well as a spot check. See if anything catches your eye.
How much you know about religion?
I'm actually good at religion, surprisingly.
He knows his religion.
Well, not unless I roll low. I did not roll low.
Okay, 22. And then for the spot.
I'm not good at spot.
Oh no.
All things considered. Not bad at spot, I'm just not good at it.
19. Okay. As you kind of look about, as you begin to notice that there are markings amongst this group. Not only recognizing the Lithotara symbol amongst a few of the giants that seem to be going about passively. Many of them having darker purple skin, and many of the other races seemingly kind of giving them a wide berth as they walk through. But as you begin to kind of find yourself walking through the streets, to the right as you pass the large market, a massive mountain giant kind of catches your eye with what looks to be a holy symbol of Ella Ugbo emblazoned on his somewhat opened up chest, almost as a tattoo, as well as below on the very large gut that is slightly protruding through this leather jerkin that's kind of barely covering the individual. What looks to be as this almost effeminate and pretty looking fire giant that has been put fully as a picturesque design of their face. There is more to the design, though. From this angle, it's too hard to see. It looks almost as if they're posing some way, but the gut of the individual looks to be too hefty and keeping half the image covered underneath as you pass by. You do notice, though, many of the hooded figures seem to be carrying the emblazoned mark of Ella Ugbo, counting around 40 or 50 followers of theirs, just seemingly going about their business as you pass through the roads or streets. Yeah.
I mean, I only know of one pretty fire giant tied to Ella Ugbo.
As you kind of take a moment, Cinder, I don't think you've met,
I have not met, I have heard about a fire giant described as being specifically beautiful and the strongest cleric that Ella Ugbo currently has.
That's true. But as you kind of pass by, seeing amongst the slot, you do see that there seem to be a good amount of religious individuals kind of intermingling amongst the populace as you pass by. Finally, as you, though, get to the edge of the town, kind of seeing this, thankfully not being followed or noticed by any of the followers themselves, at the edge of the east, or the west, yeah. Western, yeah. Wait, yes. I know my left from my right, I swear. Um, once you get to the western gate, as I apologize, I had that tipped around because I forgot King's End is east of Velcomen, not west of Velcomen. Um, as you head over, though, towards the gate, or towards the outer wall, or what you expect to be an outer wall, the signs of what looks to be a large camp in the distance clear in the forest, as you can see smoke kind of riddling through the heavy air. Even though as snow continues to come down and the darkened skies above kind of almost make it hard to see as you pass or head out towards the outer area of town. As you do, though, you do see what looks to be a large, off to the right of the what looks to be the main road itself, heading out to the wilderness. A large semi pop-up stable. It looks like it's been recently built. A lot of it's still kind of being constructed. The wood's still very clearly fresh, being cut. What looks to be a heavy pen of large boars kind of frolicking about, and what looks to be a long line of around 15 wagons or so kind of parked off to the side with a few clear members of Regan Utham's guard, a few frost giants with the emblazon of the Blackguard kind of on their chest.
Are the wagons already loaded, or are they like waiting to load?
It looks like they are completely empty, and there is no, as you look about, you see no signs of any crates or supplies or anything.
I mean, I'll just meander up to one of the guards or someone that looks like they might be important.
Yeah. As you walk over to one of them, one of the guards kind of turns to you and looks at you and goes, let me guess, you're one of those cryptic cabal fella, aren't you?
No. In introductions, I suppose. I'm Cinder, part of the Ironheart.
And looks at you as he continues in common and goes, Ironheart? You wouldn't be part of that Iron Warden lot that we've been hearing rumors about?
Not part of them. My understanding, they're a subsidy of sorts. Of the part
what?
Separate branch, different group that works under.
Well, you should know then that their lot have managed to get themselves twisted up in something around these parts. Apparently, something about some fellow named Eider becoming king. I don't know. If y'all are involved with it, I'd be a little cautious around these parts, especially being a snowbeard. A mercenary group of that was full of the snowbeards. Some flock of justice or something like that got wiped out. Not, I don't know, a week back, 2 weeks back.
I wouldn't worry. We're not going to be here long. I actually came to ask about anything we need to know about the wagon delivery.
You're the ones who signed up for it. Oh, kind of smiles and as he kind of begins to cross his arms. Like across his chest, the metal in his armor slightly grinding as it does, as he kind of smiles a toothy grin, and you see a couple of gold teeth that seem to sporadically spot in his mouth as he does, and goes, well, you and about 12 other mercenaries are signed up for it. We leave at nightfall, is the expectation. I don't know when. Tonight, tomorrow night, a month from now. As good a question as any.
Interesting. There a reason we're leaving at nightfall rather than day?
That's the orders we've been given.
Odd. Not my problem.
Nods and goes, yeah. If you're looking for it, the work, there'll be an announcement at the inn when we're heading out. Anybody who's signed on will be expected to be here by nightfall. And beyond that, well, let everything be on your side, because the last mercenary group we took with us didn't make it.
I'm going to be honest, that feels like every mission nowadays.
Well, we took some fellas with us not my squad at least. Well, the squad that went ahead of us, about 20 wagons or so, we're heading tonight, and they telling it that we got reports back of a giant bear falling from the sky and attacking some shadow beast, and apparently wiped out the entirety of the squad.
Yeah, unfortunate timing. We saw the same creature on our way here.
Oh, so it's real. It's not something that they're just making up to be lazy.
No, it's real. Probably dead now.
And looks you up and down and goes, if that thing's dead, then we'd have heard about it by now. We
It's
wouldn't.
either dead or off. I mean, 2 apex monsters fighting, and someone calls us the apex hunter. I mean, someone's got to win.
Apex Hunter?
Eh,
You mean
it's
that?
what he's called. I'll pull out because I still have the Vitra, fucking, what's it called, like entry that has his name at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll like pull it out and I'll show this guy because I point at the name at the bottom of the sheet.
As he looks at it, he goes, interesting. I must apologize. The only thing I know the individual name is he kind of looks over at one of his squad mates who like hands him a scroll as he unwinds it and goes, as he hands it to you, and you see the most wanted list of the top 16 people or in groups that are wanted in the world, and goes, this was a list we were given by the Regan to start enforcing on.
Wait, they finally let out the wanted list. It wasn't out when we were at last town.
Well, it's not done from my understanding, but these are the individual names we got. If that Kaijin fella's in the territory, that's a bounty worth sacrificing your life for, as he kind of like lightly taps the scroll towards where the paint reward is for him.
Yeah. By the time we realized who he might be, Apex Monster showed up. Wasn't exactly a chance to stay anymore.
He nods as kind of noticing that there's two fellows walking in towards the same direction with a bit of purpose in his eye or in their eyes. He kind of looks up and goes, looks like we have company. They yours?"
Is it Rollman and James?
As you look back, you do see Rollman and James.
Oh, yeah. They work with me. Hey, over here.
All right, we're still walking there.
Ah, yes, Uncle. On our way. Waddle on over.
You run over? Damn, man.
I'm waddling.
He said waddle.
Okay.
He's waddling here.
As they kind of waddle over, the guard kind of looks up at you lot and goes, "Oh, my name is Bjorn. I know, original. My mother thought it was gonna make me some king. My brother's name is O'Garin. He didn't last a week. Turns out when you take a name of a famous raider, they don't do very well. Better name to take." And kind of holds out his hand towards you, Rollman and James.
I give it a
I'll
firm shake.
I'll give him
Roll
a
him.
good handshake too.
He nods at your name, Rollman, and kind of nods to James and goes,
James.
Nice to meet both of you. I was just telling your friend here that as far as it goes, we're not heading out till nightfall, and I don't know when, if it's today, tomorrow, or when.
I'm guessing we also noticed the carts are empty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so meaning
Uh.
probably not tonight if they haven't started loading.
All
You
right,
know-
well,
When it'll be announced or anything, or where?
He told me it'd be announced at the inn, so we'll know.
Okay.
He nods.
well, I
and
guess
goes,
they guess.
there was about 15 more mercenaries, from my understanding, that'll be joining us. I don't expect most of them to make it, but maybe you lot will be different.
Are we the first to arrive here, or?
No. There's another fellow that came around here, old fella, Rakshasa with an attitude. And he kind of puts his hand down to around his knee and goes about yay high, bright yellow hair, angry as all hell.
What do you want me to roll?
I
You can try
recognize this
you can
description
try
immediately, thank you.
Knowledge, nobility, or a knowledge history.
A crump.
Well, I know he's a crump. I want to know which one. Try nobility. I'm not the best. Oh, never. I don't have to be.
You don't have to be the best. You're just good enough.
Good enough.
As you are kind of looking, or as you're kind of thinking about this, it sounds like it could be a crump. And as you kind of think for a moment, as James seems to kind of like lightly bring that up under his breath, as you kind of take a moment, well, you've heard the rumors that Crump Jr. was supposedly spotted in Knighton. He's being one of the most notorious of the members. However, you also had James, who knew about Crump Sr., the one who's most known as the danger of the Crump family, as he was supposedly last seen in Herm Purser's last hold.
Yeah.
Also,
he said up to his knee. About how high would that be?
as he stands, this guy's roughly about 21 feet, so roughly about 3-4 feet tall.
Okay. Sure. I don't think either are known for being angry per se of senior and junior.
Not particular for with that role. You haven't. The Crumps are known for being entitled, but not for much else.
There's much a difference between entitled and specifically looking angry at all times. So some other Crump. Sure.
Maybe they're staying at the end. We'll maybe run into them.
Any of the others? Anyone notable? Run-of-the-mill mercenaries? Someone known for something?
There's a fella named Ulk that showed up and signed up. Some mongrel folk is what he calls himself. And kind of thinks for a minute and goes, There's a druid that popped into town. Got all eyes on her. She's some sort of Rakshasa, I guess. I don't know. Bright black fur. It shimmers in the winter light as he kind of takes a second and thinks and goes, that doesn't make sense. I mean, like, you know how the snow glimmers when the light hits it? It for some reason the fur glimmers with it. Bright green eyes, hard to miss in our town.
Cinder nods. He understands the snow glimmering.
James not as well. He understands very well.
She called herself Gentry, which I guess is two names. I mispronounced it the first few times as he kind of nods.
I know this. Wait, shit. I know this. I have to find it.
Cinder is rapidly looking through his notes suddenly as something kind of clicks into his head, a realization of his own.
I remember this name. It's come up in campaign before.
Go ahead, Roland.
He's gonna be racking his brain for a minute.
Yeah. As the guard kind of looks at Cinder and just kind of looks back over to James and Rollman and goes, as soon as I hear the orders, though, I'll let you know. My understanding is the mercenaries are going to be gathering at the inn tonight. You'll probably see a good few of them. I think the Iron Warden is stopping in. We're expecting them to make dock, and a few of their members will be joining us. And there was a fella. Her, what was her name? Magic casting chick. Real dark, armored, wicked-looking blade that, like, screams when it swings. What was her name? As he looks back at the two guards, and one goes, I think it was something like Flame, or Gleam, or Glaze, and the other one just looks at him and goes, No, it was like Ocean, or Sea, or some shit. And the guard looks back at you, and the one standing in front of you both, and goes, I don't know, some water name, maybe, some elemental name, I can't recall. But wicked.
Rain?
Yeah, that's it. She cut a guy too for calling or for saying something about her. No, I mean to be fair, the guy had it coming to him. To be all honest, but
this quest has just become very risky for us.
She's been staying in town for 2 days. Last I heard, he was asking about a fella. What was his name? Now to think about it, you had a similar name. As he looks down at James and goes, You said your name was what? James?
Aye.
Huh. I wonder if you're the fella she was raving about at the bar. Man, the boys here went to the inn last night, hoping. Well, not last night. Apologies, the night before, hoping to get a drink with her. I had a chance. Figured, maybe she likes a little bit more salt of the earth and everything. Well, I can't help but say she shot me down, but Bo back there, as he points to one of the younger frost giants behind him, he goes, oh man, she grabbed hold of his manhood and threw him to the floor when he came up and bought her a drink. She is no happy. And then she said something about the only man she'll deal with is a guy named James. Yeah, I don't know. I figured it was some sort of giant that had wronged her, but now you show up, and I'm not gonna lie, because he kind of like puts his hand in his breeches pocket and kind of looks at you and goes, I think it might be you. How'd you nail that little thing?
Didn't. It's an old friend.
You don't want to speak about lowing down with the commoners. I had a feeling you were a noble.
No. Haven't been one of those in a long time.
DM, did you say one of the Rakshasa was black fur with green eyes?
Yes.
Cinder knows who this is. I
Calling her Jin, Gin, Tree, Tree.
There's only... He doesn't know Gentry. I was wrong with that. I was right with the description. There is a famous black-furred, green-eyed mage from the Rakshasa lands who is the leader of of one of the magic academies. So they're either related in some way, shape, or form, because from my understanding, most of the colors of Rakshasa are clan tied in some way.
Correct.
Or it's her under a different name.
Cinder kind of whispers this into Rollman and James's ears lightly as the conversation continues. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Cinder. Go ahead. Sorry.
Her real name, what I found in my notes, is Lone Paw, if it's her.
Ah. Good to know. Thank you, Uncle. Well, I'll look to Olaf. Making sure I got this right.
What? No, he said his name was Bjorn.
Bjorn. Okay. Bjorn. Yeah. It's a me, Cameron. I'll look at Bjorn and go, thank you for the information and the heads up.
He nods. And goes, no problem. It's not like we got much to do. We're just stuck out here watching the wagons until this all gets set up.
Why are the wagons so far away from, or outside the town?
Well, the expectation is in case we get attacked. Og's expecting the large camp. There's around, 20, 30,000 is what the scouts are saying as he looks back at his men who seem to nod along and kind of looks back at you and goes, of Lithotaro's followers sitting outside the city. Don't know why they won't enter, but supposedly every time a lot of them try to that are wanting to attack the town, they run into some invisible shield that... Og says that it's something to do with some blessing from a god. I've heard some people who are saying it's Ella Ugbo's church that's keeping the city safe. I've heard others say it's, the gods, beyond these gods of great power and, Mother Nature itself that are doing it. I have no idea. But my understanding is just a run.
Do you know what general direction, they were camping out in?
Mostly east and south of us. Looks to be a lot of them seem to be blocking, or the camps seem to be blocking all the routes towards the tombs, and they started popping up probably around the same time Destiny's Lord was found, I think, by that group called the Unfortunate Sons about 4 months back. No, he looks back and goes, no, about a year back, actually, roughly. Now that I think about it. But, yeah, they attack just about anybody who heads that way, so unless you all are looking to try your luck, I'd recommend avoiding them purple bastards. Not to be one of them types, but I'll tell you, there ain't nothing that's gonna come with those purple skins.
Alright, well, thank you.
He knows.
Heading back.
Alright, good luck to you. I'll be probably seeing you here before we head out. As he kind of takes a step back towards his men.
As we walk back into town, I'm going to look at them both and go, well, it's good that we'll see the Iron Warden's crew. I can possibly get them to stop spreading Ider's name currently for at least a short while.
Dude, Cinder's not paying attention. I know this fucking name, and I'm going to find it.
Oh, that's good.
Along with the possibility of running into rain is terrifying.
Yeah.
You don't suppose she's just going to make it simple and not kill me on sight, do you?
I don't know. I know.
Is there a reason you're worried, or?
Rain was very powerful and very unpredictable, Uncle.
Okay. I feel like so are most people that are strong.
And she was very close to a companion of ours known as Lar, the one that we ended up resurrecting into Abaddon.
Huh. And odd, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
We going back to the inn, or where do we want to go?
I mean, we apparently got all day now.
True.
We really do have no other plans. We could look into where we're supposed to meet up for the supply depot attack, I guess, but most of these quests look like they take place closer to Knighton and Vilkelman. As a matter of fact, Uncle, I think the supply depot is where your town is supposed to be.
You're
They
joking.
occupy. They it looks from the description here, it sounds like it. They may have occupied your land already.
Oh, they're doing an evil ritual again.
Not exactly
Well,
close,
if
there are we?
if there's a chance we could end up making that giant thing fall from the sky again and really wipe them out almost immediately.
It fell because of a spell circle that was on a wall that got destroyed when the first one fell.
It's true. We might be able to replicate it.
If you replicate it, you're gonna get us killed. Most probably. It didn't look like simple magic.
That is very fair. Who knows? Maybe there's another sigil there that we can just light up and run away from.
I fucking hope not.
Oh, that's true. It might that town would already be flattened by now if there was, right?
Most probably.
As you pass through the town, the kind of passing by the market, as you do, what looks to be the large mountain giant that you'd caught in the eye of earlier, Cinder, looks to be finally standing up. Counting his height, he looks to be around 55 feet in height, and his gut as well as chest seem to be the majority of it, with having pretty short legs in comparison to the rest of his very large torso. Now being able to see the full pin up of this fire giant, almost semi-masculine, semi-feminine. It looks like it's a strongman kind of flexing, but in a more of a sexual way. As you see the arms and a wink on the individual's face, looking towards you, as it seems to almost lightly jiggle as the mountain giant moves, kind of as he seems to look over towards you lot and begin walking.
Uncle, did you make a friend?
Hello?
Well, hello? Oh, Cinder muted for a moment.
Oh, he's gone. They're walking towards us, like you said, or they're
Yes.
walking like.
Looks like he is walking right over to you. Did you need a second, Cinder?
I just got back. I was on for a moment.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Yeah, so who's walking over?
The large mountain giant that, as you now see, looks to have the fire giant, almost designed like a strong man, kind of flexing in a pin-up sexual way of sorts as it winks at you. The tattoo almost looking like it's walking as the belly rumbles kind of towards you.
Yeah, that's horrifying on all fronts.
That's very uncomfortable art.
As the 55-year-old large, 55-foot large giant kind of comes walking over, you see as he's a thick kilt around him looks to be made of pretty clearly some sort of bright purple wool that seems to hang down, almost slightly pressed into a design. His chest is mostly covered by what looks to be a simple leather jerkin, but after a quick moment of a glance, James, you recognize the scales of a black adult dragon kind of dotting the leather, that jerkin that he is wearing, as well as noting that his kilt looks to be made from the wool of a rock sheep. As he comes walking over to you lot and bends down heavily. As he does, the kilt seems to kind of ride up slightly on his knees. And unfortunately, as you lot at your height get a full view of everything underneath there's hair, flesh, and things moving that shouldn't be moving. And you're pretty sure you see some sort of paw trying to pull away or out of the way of that whatever's underneath there. But as
I've seen work.
You know what? After 3 years of adventuring, James is not as phased by this as he probably should be.
As the mountain giant looks down at you and breathes the heavy smell of ale coming on his mouth, who speaks primitive and giant?
I do.
I do.
Okay. James, do you?
I only speak giant, and I know the curse words of primitive.
The accent's gonna be pretty thick, James, so give me an intelligence check when you get a chance to see how much of it you can recognize.
One moment, I have to go feed the animals, so yes,
Take
I
one.
will.
But as he speaks down in a mix of primitive and giant that seems to be leaning more heavily into primitive, the creature goes, "Are you lot the iron?" And then he just like smacks his chest really hard and gives a bellow out and goes, and Lynn looks down at you as if waiting for you to confirm.
Is that heart in primitive?
From what you can tell, rough estimation, yeah. From what you can tell, Olaman.
I'll say back imperative. Yes, that's us.
He nods and goes, the rain wants you. 18 or 19. You do catch a good bit of this conversation. Thankfully, after hearing Roman speak enough times, it's easy to catch the few grunts and groans mixed in with giant that lets you kind of like Spanglish cue in enough of the conversation to catch what's going on. As he continues and goes, "You lot afraid of rain?" As he kind of like points to the sky.
How do you figure so?
Big blade, beard cutter. As she points down to Cinder, he points down to Cinder and James.
They cut beards.
Blade, hungry for bearded men.
Interesting.
And he like kind of like puts his hand down near James's head and like not on James but like beside James to kind of like give a measurement like sort of thing as if he's trying to show you that he's not just talking about James and Cinder. And continues and goes, "Rain, scary. Cut down 2 men. Not fun. Take beards." And walked away. Carries on, and he like motions to his hip.
Did these men do anything to deserve this?
No, just short and bearded.
Okay.
Cameron, I think you gave her a hate of all snowbeards.
Damn. One damn character. Why? Why?
She screamed, strange name. Not understand it. And he goes, name was Liar? As he nods up and down.
Alar?
No, pretty sure Liar.
Okay. And why do you tell us this?
I tired of seeing small men die. Too much fighting coming. Not a good time for small men die. Me need to run and let small men die while I run.
Okay.
Cinder respects it.
Thank you for the heads up.
Do you know where Rain
Sure.
is right now, or where they stay?
He nods up and down.
Okay. Where did they stay?
And down.
Mm.
I mean, he's not wrong.
And he kind of like lifts his finger and he points, as he kind of points to the far east of the town. As you give a look, give me a search check to see what catches your attention a little bit for that.
Okay.
I know I'm about to get a message of hate in a minute.
18.
That
Yeah.
would work. I don't want to.
Okay. As you looking on, you see a large stone church with what looks to be a pretty well carved bell tower that seems to be kind of almost dominating the top of it. A pretty large wall on the outskirts of it that seems to surround the property that he seems to be pointing towards in the distance, recognizing that as the Church of Ella Ugbo.
Is she a father of Ella Ugbo, or is she just staying there?
Is Rollman asking this?
Yeah.
The mountain giant looks at you and kind of shrugs. Not no.
Where holy symbol? Where symbol of God?
Left buttocks as he like turns and starts to bend over and lift the kilt.
Not you.
Oh. He turns back, kind of like stops and turns around as you see what looks to be a small jaguar fall out from underneath and run away at a desperate sprint. as he
Wow.
turns and looks back over at you and goes, and he like smacks his chest again. Same god as, and he points and he's like smacks his belly and like bounces it and makes it bounce a few times.
So yes. All right. Cool. It's good
Thank
to
you
know.
for the information. What is your name?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
That
Thank
checks
you,
out.
Bigfoot.
Named Bigfoot for having small feet.
Oh.
As you, as you look down, they are the size of the wagons out in the underneath Samus.
Like, compared to his height, do they look small?
It's hard. Give me a survival check, we'll call it. Or for this specific.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this as well.
Why do you care about the feet, Cameron?
You're staring at his feet too?
I'm looking at him in size.
25.
One sec. As you, sorry. My PM just got me laughing here. As you, look at his feet for a second, looking him up and down, being as large as he is, it's actually kind of comical. It looks like this dude is definitely not built for running long distances, as his feet are actually quite tiny compared to his humongous size. They're probably about 7 or so feet smaller than what they should be, roughly, to allow someone of his size to run and balance really well. Yeah, he's got tiny feet.
Can I assume from the size that he probably moves slower than the average of his species?
No. As you kind of take a look, it looks like he'd be, on a sprint, he'd be slower than the average mountain giant, but, kind of keeping in mind that speed-wise, to get up to that speed, he still looks like he's got leg strength to spare. It's just, balance-wise, you'd guesstimate that as he's running, he probably has a hard time maintaining his balance.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you for the information.
And he smiles as he stands back up, looking down at you lot, and goes, "Good luck, young adventurer. Don't die. Oh, keep sword in pants." And he kind of like turns and starts walking towards the market again to go find his large chair that he's kind of got set up in the one corner of it.
I feel like his chair is just someone's house.
As you look at it, it is roughly the same height as the inn itself, and about roughly, not as wide, but about a quarter of the building in size. As you kind of look at it, it looks to be made of a mix of stone and wood that looks to be enough to make a small house.
What a nice guy.
It was nice of him to warn us. I now have the answer to my question that I asked you earlier, Rollman.
Which was...
If she was going to make it easy and just not kill me when on sight. Sounds like she'll attack me on sight.
Maybe you want to shave.
What?
I look at Rollman with absolute disgust.
Rollman, who's been insulted, who's been almost offered as a sacrifice or to be easily written off as a kill the entire time by James in front of him. I imagine not bothered by the disgusted look on your face given the comments you've made.
Cinder just blinks and goes, I could.
See? Your uncle's considering it.
I take good care of my beard.
There's no reason not to, as I pat my not taken care of, rough, wild beard.
I've a little bit changed, so it's look better. James's beard, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Roland.
I mean, my beard's not for fashion, it's to help with the cold.
Very fair. Well, we should probably not head over in that direction then in the city.
I heard that that'd be the place. I heard that the unfortunate sons were around here at one point. I'd rather not run into them either.
Almost at that mention, and almost like a shadow coming up to life, you notice as Chastophilus appears behind James, kind of just standing there.
Wait, is this the intellect devourer?
How could you not remember of all the chasts who Chastophilus is?
Roland hasn't met this person.
fucking dare you? You dishonor me.
I'm sorry, there's like 10 of them.
I look at
At
you,
least.
and who are you?
Yeah, so Chastophilus is like a 6'6", big, heavy set, super heavy robed figure with the cowl up and like an enchanted shadow covering his face. So you can't really see what race or what kind of person is under there. And
Well,
under the robe, you see a bunch of like squirming bulges that kind of like poke out under the robe and then like come back in. Every now and then you see a little like a little flick of like a tail or something out in different parts of the robe. And
Roman's definitely cautious.
sorry.
Yeah.
Roman's definitely cautious.
To Roloman's
Oh,
own
for sure.
knowledge, this is almost similar to a pseudo troll by the looks of it, from your first guesstimation, because as you've met a few with Seji and all that.
Yep.
Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead, Chestophilus.
Yeah, Chastophilus, in your head, James whispers, "Boo," because he popped up behind you.
Just slow turn. I've dealt with Melvin's screams. That's not that scary at this point. But good try.
As you say that, behind Chestophilus suddenly appears James, this massive version of Vitra as a minor illusion, looking like it's about to come in and kill you.
I jump behind Rule.
No, I've wanted to talk to this lady.
Roloman and Cinder, as you look up, you see nothing there. You just
Yeah.
see Chestophilus, and who suddenly appears, kind of, as James seems to look up, say this, and then jump back suddenly in fear.
I will. Oh, just because it is pertinent, because Chastophilus got a little increase in Zebral's favor amongst all of the like very drab, dark attire. He does have a bright purple top hat on top
no.
of the cowl of the robe.
That's a nice new hat, friend.
I ask again, who are you?
Chastophilus just looks at James.
This
You
man
have
is
not
Chestophilus.
spoken of me.
We kind of had to go on the run and weren't sure if you'd show up again, to be honest.
As James slowly inches his way
no.
out around Roloman, back into the
This
side.
This is good. This is good.
He's an ally,
Chastophilus
woman.
stares off into space.
He's an ally. He assisted us with dealing with the hellhounds in your absence.
Alright.
A friend with a similar backer to Melvin.
James' eyebrows like lightly raise at that to give him an emphasis on that and can't give you a clue.
Okay. Chastophilus, good to meet you. I'm Roloman. I don't know if James has spoken to me either.
Very nice to meet you.
Do you say that loud or you said it
You
in my
seem... I'll say it in your head.
head? Okay.
You seem displeased at the mention of my master.
Well, I don't get super along well with Melvin.
Did not know this. You must be a untrustworthy sort.
I tend to not trust people I just met.
Chastophilus, to your knowledge, from what Melvin has seen overall, Roloman seems to be James's caution. As you kind of James is seems very willy-nilly with his personality, at least as a merchant goes. And a lot of times through the adventures, Melvin has seen that Roloman's been the one cautioning James almost always. That and the other compatriot, though, typically they don't seem to make it very long, unfortunately. Examples of being Essa, Lar, Noir, now Cinder. Roloman seems to always be, though, that conscious to James as you kind of come up and down.
Understood. Right on.
What do I know about pseudo trolls?
Give me well, what are you trying to glean out of curiosity? Is it just anything that you know, or are you trying to get something specific or out of curiosity?
Mostly anything I know, but basically, like, are they resistant to anything? Like, if I were to attack Chastophilus right now, what will be the best way to do it?
Oh,
It's basically
yeah.
Roland's thought process here.
Yeah,
How can I
give
kill
me a
this thing
knowledge
instantly?
give me a knowledge nature or a survival check.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Word.
Roland just does to everybody.
No, he doesn't do one.
Yes, I do.
He didn't do
This
it.
is very factual.
Man never checked how he could kill me.
Didn't do it to Rad.
Because
Didn't
that's
do it to Rad, didn't do it to
Um,
Cinder.
So as you kind of look up this individual up and down, firstly, pseudo trolls are most notably known for their very high spell resistance. So magically, you know immediately that's off the table. Looking him up and down, you also know pseudo trolls are known for their strength. They're very good at grappling and are typically physically just capable. You're pretty sure you're outmatched. Almost 10 to 1 on that. They are acid and electric resistant. They do regenerate, and basically all along, pseudo trolls are a pain in the butt to kill unless you have fire to permadamage them. Beyond that, they also are known for their rotting constriction, which you would know, which is common knowledge, which means that they like to grapple the prey and basically constrict on them and kill them with whatever disease their body's either carrying or that their body naturally gives. And that's before you count into whatever Toth experiment this creature could have gone through. Which, to your own knowledge, all the pseudo trolls seem to have some funky uniqueness about them in one way or another, because almost all come from the Toth experiments. No one knows if these creatures can be born naturally, as you kind of take a look. But that's roughly what you guesstimate. Is basically you are outclassed here, 10 to 1, even with your compatriots.
Okay. I don't say anything on that, but
No, of course not. But kind of as you eye him up, kind of realizing this creature is not exactly, if it is a pseudo troll, this is not something you want to fight. At least not yet. But as you four kind of stand here in the middle or in the street, people kind of giving you a bit of a wide berth now that Chastophilus seemingly having shown up, being one of the only pseudo trolls it looks like even in the town. As you lot kind of continue conversation.
should we play this to the end, or
We could do that. We could also go greet Og, the ruler of the area.
you just want to greet a world leader?
He's less a world leader now that he's kind of running this for Reagan, isn't he?
Did you consider the other Dragon Lords a world leader?
Fair enough, Uncle.
Yep.
I mean, maybe you could probably schedule something if you wanted, but I don't know if we can just walk up and be like, "Hey, want me a hug?" Might not go your way.
10 minutes later, cut to James just walking in up to the door, knocking, and going, "Oh, Brightwing, hey!"
I've come to bargain.
Nice to meet you.
Dharma, Og Brightwing, I've come to bargain. And it just
Oh.
repeats from there for eternity.
Exactly. But as you four kind of stand in the market, looking about, people seem to kind of be going about their business as they do passing by. Sailors kind of going about their business. None of you, I will note, Cinder doesn't know what the Iron Warden looks like, and I doubt Chastophilus has this off the top, would be given this information, as it wouldn't be pertinent. But as James and Roloman, as you look over, you do not see the Iron Warden amongst the ships either that are docked here.
We'll have to come back later today or tomorrow and see if Iron Warden will have docked.
That's fine. We can also do some research and see if it'd be good to set up a shop in town.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the day. We may as well utilize it for business ventures.
The heavy smell of eggs being cooked, the scent of omelets, kind of heavy on the air as many of the taverns are kind of going about their business.
You can do that boring research. I'm probably going to find somewhere to train.
All right. Chastophilus, would you mind accompanying me? I don't really want to be stabbed without some backup.
I love research. I will come.
Snow
All right,
yawns
thank
and kind of curls up around Cinder's feet.
And Cinder, it looks like you are now anchored to the spot.
I'm gonna be honest. I was about to walk away anyway. I mean, you invited him, so you don't need me. I don't really have anything to do. I'll be
You
here
can,
with
like-
Snow.
You can like sculpt something. I don't know. What do you do in your free time?
Well, all of my sculpting materials are back on the ship.
Oh,
Yeah, they're back at the shop right now.
Don't know what you'd have me sculpt out of.
you like buy something.
I guess.
As you see, kind of as you before having this conversation, figuring out really where you want to go and what you're going to do, and looking about as you look about the town. One of the cloaked figures looks to be almost 4 feet tall, green scaled kobold seems to take their hood down. The clear sigil of Ella Ugbo emblazoned upon their hooded cape.
They're cloaked.
Cloak, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Their cloak, very brightly showing as they walk over to you, lot kind of having half heard your conversation, and going, "Hi, my name is Absalon. I am named after one of the founders of our church. I have come to hand out a little booklet. Have you heard of the good word of El Ugbo?"
Have I heard of the good word Eliapo?
Yes.
The moment
Oh,
he's
you
not
asked.
look- he looks at the others, I walk away. I am already a religious man. I cannot.
Oh, was that a question? Was that a question from the DM rolling?
Yes, it was.
The moment the
Knowledge
kid
religion.
focuses on Rollman because he seems most interested, James is also going to leave.
He's trying to
You gonna leave me here? Okay, all right. I see how it is.
I already have a religion, man. I'm gone.
All right, see ya. I've been sacrificed. It seems.
Yep, I think so.
To
But,
social to a social event, yes.
To
I-
effectively the Mormons of Royce's world.
I would say I said I was gonna leave before this guy showed up. You knew what I was.
So
Alright.
I
have
said I was
heard
going to
of
go do
Eliapo?
market research, so
Six,
yeah.
wait, oh, you got a 10?
Huh? No.
Oh,
That's
okay.
like from wait for it. Do you want to roll something?
Yeah, knowledge religion, if you could.
Okay. Knowledge. I don't know how many ranks in that, so it's gonna be intelligence check.
You got this.
Yeah. I definitely studied religions in my free time.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, I fixed 16.
Well, Roland, you remember reading or hearing about the news that the Ella Ugbo Church was had servants of succubi and princesses of royalty that had given up their position. On it, you weren't gonna do anything, but curiosity at the very least. It didn't hurt to take a couple minutes to read the book or an article on it. Just for
princess. science.
During the break times between training, you gotta take breaks.
Yeah, you need to read. Train your mind like any good warrior. That's you.
The
Kind of
servants
for a
of
second.
succubi and princesses.
Yeah, so Ella Ugbo's church is most commonly, to your knowledge, a death church. They are worshippers of death. They are almost considered a death cult by most. However, their belief is in the kindness behind death and a respect for it. They worship a god they call the Mother, typically, which should give a little bit of concern to Roland hearing that term in his head going because of the wyvernkin that kept calling itself the Mother. But as you kind of hear, or for your knowledge, she is well known as a goddess of protecting those who are weak, having the strong kind of fight on, and not allowing people to come back from undeath. Very big on kind of going back through the cycle and balancing everything out. Her followers are most often typically people seeking redemption of some sort, to your knowledge, roughly. And most often typically mixed between high nobility that have lesser ranks, so typically like Cinder in this example would be a perfect example of someone who would be common amongst their ranks. Knights, cousins of the lords, and people who won't ever inherit titles will typically end up amongst your numbers. Most noteworthy, most recently, you've heard about the purge of her church from the Cracklands, as I believe you had gotten a bit of a snippet on that in Manus Grove when you guys were there.
I think that was part of when we heard about Kesnanok, because we heard that all the higher ones at him were dead.
Yep. And then last thing you kind of gather is that there is supposedly a rumored new champion, a fire giant that is said to have managed to swoon the strongest magic caster of the world. With just a quick wink of the eye, and supposedly is so capable as a diplomat that they were able to wiggle the room almost into becoming a princess or prince of the fucking frost giant lands.
I've got some competition, it seems.
You kind of look
If they
at this.
become
Oh, go ahead.
if they become a princess, you don't have competition. You have new wife material.
It's true. The kid kind of looks up at you and smiles as he hands you this pamphlet and goes, kind of waiting for your answer.
Yes, I've heard of Elegwood before. It's not for me. I don't strive
Oh,
to protect the weak. I strive for a good battle.
perfect! You'll love to meet some of our new paladins. We've got a church in town. Follow me as he kind of like takes your hand and starts to try and guide you.
All right.
Hey, you wanted to train.
I did want to train. Now you did want to train. I mean, sure, I can show them some
You
pointers,
can
or
fight
maybe they can
Paladin.
show me some.
Yeah. He's a new guy. He got set up. He's got his. We got his friend there. She's really nice. She likes to curse about the weather constantly. But she's recently a convert. You'll love her. I think she's quite capable.
Oh no.
Oh, and she only cut off 2 guys' heads this week,
Oh,
so it's a
no.
good week. He kind of like didn't
Oh,
lead
no.
you through the town.
Rollman, no, you.
Why do you think I so quickly?
This
Yeah,
guy
better
has
than
a
James,
fucking
though.
weakness.
No. I know who this is. It's Rain. It's bad.
It's rain. This is bad. This means that there's about to be a storm through the city to find James.
As he kind of leads you off, are you going to try and resist Rollman, or are you going to... Because he's not strong. This is a kid. I mean, this is a child, definitely. But he is trying to lead you with in good intentions, as you can tell.
I'm curious. You know what? I will. Yeah, I'll follow. I'll change up my look to be different though.
Okay. What are you
I'll go with,
gonna...
I'll trade out the nice green suit for looking more like a basic mercenary, like basic equipment, so nothing like a bunch of rounds and stuff.
Okay. Give me a disguise check real quick.
Okay.
Because I assume you don't have a kit.
No.
Okay.
And I'll purchase anything
No, I got you.
along the market as we can. Oh yeah, I'm great at disguise. 3.
Rollman, as you kind of head through the town, doing what you can to change out your outfit, kind of taking off the armor that you had, putting on some old gear that you had in your inventory. Because I believe you have some other sets of armor amongst your inventory. Because I think you have,
I have
4
the
sets
glamour
of armor.
set.
Yeah. And taking the glamour set and then using its enchant to make it look more beat up and busted, to more heavily potted plates, the iron looking very dulled and scratched up, as you kind of continue to follow the kid. Kid not even noticing as he continues to guide you through the road, or through the crowds. Alright.
I'll use a shield and sword instead.
Oh god, okay. Yeah, as you kind of command your weapon, wait, you don't have the 1,000 weapon anymore, do you?
No, I don't have any of that. What are you talking about?
I
I
forgot
have
about
a
that.
shield.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, as you pull out a shield out of your pack, kind of strapping it onto your back, as you do, making it look like it's in a position for battle, as you get ready and head off with this child. All right. We're gonna jump back to you in a minute, Rollman, as you start heading through the streets. We're gonna start with Cinder. Cinder, as you kind of see Rollman beginning to get suckered into the conversation that you've seen 1,000 times in these cities, and heard even worse tales about. As you manage to quickly, lightly lift your feet out of Snow's tail and kind of manage to start stepping back, Snow seems to follow after as you disappear down the street and into the crowd. Where are you heading?
I'm just going for a walk around town. I got nothing to do really.
All right, nothing in particular you're wanting to get caught up in specific?
I'll like listen to a few girls I walk by, hear any rumors while I'm walking. You know, see where my feet.
Yeah, give me a listen check.
Oh my god.
Oh. As you pass through the town, and heading through these streets, not really looking for anything particular and just kind of wandering, having already passed by the market stalls yourself, and caught a good bit of the conversation, much of the town seems to be up in a roar about the new Church of El Ugbo. Some people stating that it is a protection racket, others stating that it seems to be more of a blackmail on Og. Some believe that it has something to do with Regan Utham's interest in this new founded church and trying to hedge his bets. There's a lot of discussion amongst this new church that seems to be kind of popped up. Not any of it seemingly good as you kind of listen in. The other bits that you catch seem to be mostly about the war front. Some rumors or some whispers it sounds as you pass by about supposedly Regan Utham having been wounded in battle, losing an entire arm or and hit both of his hands, being bedridden supposedly. Some people are stating that Boloff had returned and taken Regan Utham's head. Some people are saying that Roten decided to take Regan Utham's head. But the general conspiracy seems to be that Regan Utham has vanished from the front lines and no one knows what's going on as you kind of pass through. There's also seems to be rumors of a strange giant with a white mask that seems to have popped up at the front of the battlefield. Some are stating that this is the potential Lithotara's personal champion. Others think that this creature is some sort of giant slayer, as it seems to be attacking those on all sides. The last sighting of the creature was said to have been on the front lines fighting with Regan Utham and putting Regan Utham on the defensive to the point where the individual is said to have retreated.
I was going to say, does the mask sound like Face's mask?
White mask. You haven't seen many masks in your time, Cinder, but you can give me a knowledge history to see if anybody else has claimed something like this before. But first guess, yeah, it sounds like Face's mask did it before you roll.
No, probably.
As you kind of think about, there's a lot of masks in the world, but white, not any other description that you get, that's Face from what you saw. Seeing as it was in the area, it kind of fits as you pass through.
Cinder's going to live under the assumption that whoever puts on Face's mask becomes Face, and that's a horrifying thought.
It is indeed, as Cinder kind of heads through the town, kind of continuing about his march. Is there anything in particular you're going to be on the lookout, or are you just kind of listening in to gather as much information as you can as you walk through?
The only info I'll be specifically looking for is stuff related to either the war front or about the last wagon train that left and did not come.
Let's say gather info real quick. We'll get that summarized here.
Okay. Do I have ranks and gather info? And do I have a good gather info?
As always, the question.
The answer to both is no.
Oh no.
Let's see how this goes. I am not.
Another 5. No.
Hey.
So as you kind of continue about for the next few hours, heading through the streets, much of the warfront seems to be talked about. That there is a 3-point warfront. Lithotara's main force seems to have attacked Velkomen. Supposedly, a large vanguard unit of what is believed to be bog giants have begun taking siege of Knighton. However, there are rumors amongst that there's a new group having popped up in the area and is beginning to take them out, though no name is exactly given to you. The other bit of information that you managed to get is it seems that there has been news of Lithotara's army having been here in the city of King's End or on the outskirts of King's End for almost a year now, having not been noticed or bothered by Regan Utham, which is quite strange. As you pass through the town, nothing else kind of catches your attention though amongst as you go through that.
All right. Keep that in mind.
All right. Since James just BRB'd, Rolliman, you have the unfortunateness of being up next.
Oh no.
As you're pulled through the main streets towards the church, it's about a half an hour walk as the kid continues to kind of yammer on about how great Ella Ugbo is, telling you of her teachings, kind of speaking to her origin, supposedly, and basically trying to his best to convert you as he continues going on and on.
I just nod my head up and down as we keep going.
As it kind of continues, finally getting to the edge of the church, the heavy stone walls on that kind of frame the entirety of its land seem to go off to the far right and encompass a large graveyard where a few looks to be fresh, semi-fresh graves have been kind of set down, and a few that look to be a little bit older but still well taken care of. The church itself looks to be a very simple building in its design. made out of a what looks to be solid marble, almost completely in the entrance. Above the door, it reads "The Unfortunate Sons." Kind of seems to be carved into the doorway in giant. As the kid kind of brings you up to the door, knocking on it. As he does, and he kind of smiles at you and goes, "Now I will warn." Our new convert, she's a little testy around men, so I'm gonna have to ask that you be on your best behavior, as I don't want to watch you lose your head.
Okay, I'll try not to lose my head.
He nods and goes, and by the way, just so you know, I'm going to be leaving you here with him, as I still have more jobs to do and hand off more pamphlets. As he kind of smiles at you.
Cool. Okay.
As he begins knocking heavily on the door, you hear from inside a roar of someone saying to open or to come in. As the door creaks open, the kobold looks up at you and smiles as he lightly shoves it open, and then begins to run away. Almost at a quick sprint, as you look in, seeing the pews kind of lined up, what looks to be a singular figure in a heavy hooded black cloak, almost as if they are mourning, as they seem to be kind of lightly, their head slightly down, looks like their hands kind of grasped in front of them. What looks to be a large Heliovoli that looks almost identical to Kesnanok, except for the fact that this one is actually buff, old, and looks like an actual proper blacksmith who stands in front of you. His hair slightly balded at the center, or at the top, the sides of it a little bit more grown out. A very rough appearance, a scraggly beard that seems to look more like it's been covered in soot than anything else, but slightly gives a glimmer of red. However, the clear, light Heliovoli wings behind him that seem to kind of flutter as the figure looks on at you as the doors creak open. The figure kind of beckons you to come in with his hand as he begins to read off from his scripture.
Okay. I come in.
So you kind of step in, awkwardly looking about, kind of wondering what's going on and waiting for something to happen. The priest continues, and then after a few moments seems to kind of stop. The figure kind of still at one of the front pews, still quietly leaning forward, not looking back, as the priest kind of steps down and begins walking over towards you. Standing about 17-ish feet tall, he kind of seems to walk over to you, beginning to shrink down to your height, and begins to speak and goes, almost immediately in giant, goes, "I apologize, my son. I hope my size and interest to the religion did not scare you away. I do apologize if it caused any fear. The roar of my proselytizing can sometimes frighten the new sheep who'd wish to join our pack. May I ask what your interest is in showing here today?"
I do not seek or wish to join El Agbo or become a follower. I'm just here to train my own martial skills.
Ah, the boy speaks true then. Yes, I used to serve amongst one of Regan Utham's raiding ships. For about a month, I spent time harrying storm giants, and I've been recognized amongst many as a crusader of the faith. I've trained a few of some of our swordsmen and guardsmen, but I would not consider myself even nearly as capable as you, young man.
How so?
You are quite experienced by the looks of you, and the fact that you try to hide everything about yourself with your appearance tells me you're a much greater warrior than you're giving on. As he kind of eyes you up and down.
I will admit, I haven't used a sword and shield for some time in combat.
He nods and goes, well, I don't mind if you are interested, and I'm not too bothered with whatever reason you may have. All are welcome amongst our church, so long as they're willing to treat it with respect and pay kindness to the God we believe in. You are welcome to train here. I must warn, though, there is one other member who is amongst my herd of trainees. As he kind of looks over his shoulder towards the caped figure, still leaning forward in a quiet prayer.
And who would this be?
Her name is Rain, I believe, is what she's told me. She's a well-known mercenary, though I must warn she is also a little bit of a chaotic issue when it comes to men who join amongst my flock. Many of them make passes, and well, she took Bo's manhood last time that he tried. So I hope you understand if I'm a little cautious to have you join us.
No worries. I know of them.
You know Bo?
Um, I mean, I talked to him like an hour ago, but yes, I know of Rain as well.
Oh, that is perfect. As he kind of looks back, Rain, please come. It
Oh,
sounds
God
like
damn
you
it.
have a compatriot that knows you. As she like
Oh, no,
suddenly
I didn't mean it like
turns,
that.
and as you kind of like go to stop him, he kind of like as he sounds this, you see Rain's eyes or head slowly turns, little bits of blue hair kind of sticking out as it does. The glowing yellow eyes that seem to kind of come out from underneath this cloak and kind of glare into you as they do. You see this blue-skinned, bright Genasi with pointed ears kind of look over and glare. As she kind of stands up, the cloak falls off, and you see what looks to be a massive sword on her back that Rolaman looks similarly to the one that you sold to, I believe it was Zebril.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking almost identical to it on her back as she stands up and glares at you, wearing what looks to be a heavy leather armor. That as you kind of get a look up and down, looks to be made of a strange, almost blackened silver-like material.
All right. I won't do anything. I'll just stand here.
She just kind of looks at you, and the priest, kind of sensing the tension, kind of looks back at you, Rollman, and goes, pardon my asking, you two weren't like former lovers of some sort that I should be concerned about?
No.
Yeah, nods and goes, maybe I'll leave you two to get reacquainted as, please, take your time, enjoy yourselves amongst the church, and remember the lands are sanctified, that any combat done on these grounds is a declaration of war upon any and all members of Ella Ugbo's church, as he kind of like steps to the side and begins to step out.
How are we supposed to train then?
Oh, I will be training you off the grounds, don't worry.
When will we be doing that?
He kind of looks over at the very angry-looking Flare and then looks back at you. Looks like there's a moment of conversation needed, so meet me once you're complete, as he kind of like turns and heads for the door.
Okay.
And you can see a light sweat kind of trip down the side of his head as he heads out and kind of closes it behind him, as you hear a couple of like movements and the lock kind of shift.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's necessary.
As you kind of say this, you hear come out from the other side. Oh, it's just, lovers' quarrels can be so difficult.
I said
for the
we weren't
youth."
that.
And you see Rain just her glare harden as she stares at you. Weapon still on her back as the long blade kind of glimmers. She smiles and goes, Rulaman, it's good to see you.
Damn, my disguise didn't work.
It's really easy to see through it.
I mean, yeah, I kind of had like 30 minutes to make something, before I was like forced to come here.
Oh, so James is making you do his dirty work. Let me guess. He heard about me and sent you here to parlay so I don't take his head or his manhood?
Nope. I wanted to come here to train because we were staying in town for some time.
Roll diplomacy.
Okay.
Alright.
Don't worry, I can get lower than that.
I know you can.
No, 18.
She kind of looks you up and down and goes, Sure,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this isn't some grand master plan of James's to get you to lower my guard and then for you to try and cut me down. You're gonna use your romancing on me? She kind of like shakes her hips a little bit at that and like seems to like lean forward a little bit more, showing there's nothing really. Her skin is completely covered in armor, but she kind of leans forward. You get the lightest sense that there's probably something there, but the thickness of the leather and plate and metal bits on there, it's too hard to tell. She kind of looks at you and kind of smiles at that.
No, I am not here to romance you. I wouldn't even try to do that.
Good. It makes it easier when I just kill you that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's to stop me from just taking your head right now? Is James got some brilliant plan, I assume, that he's come up with?
That is for James to think of. He doesn't let me know of his brilliant plans. Uh, I'm just here. I did not know that you would be here.
Give me a will save.
Okay.
As she casts something as her eyes begin to glow a blackened color.
It's
Almost
not very nice.
Black, as if blackened energy begins to kind of like
25.
crackle around it. Ooh, you do succeed. So nothing happens. As she kind of like the energy seems to dissipate from her eyes as she looks at you and goes, "Well, either James got smart and realized that you were magically deft, or, and my guess is you suddenly became very capable magically. Either way, I don't trust that James isn't planning something. Where is the little gremlin?"
Who's to say? I do not know.
You're protecting your boss so I don't cut his balls off, I understand. But you must be clear here. I'll take his life regardless.
And why is that?
You know why it is. He's responsible for Alar's death.
Alar
Technically,
sacrificed himself.
I saw the truth. I saw what
You-
James did, and I saw what you did. I also saw that you all kept the magic caster Melvin from going back and trying to save him. You
Well,
lot.
Melvin was dead, so he couldn't have gone back and saved him.
Yes, I recall watching him drop on the exit to the forest, and I remember him shouting out as he was going back for Alar. And I still can't believe you lot almost left him to die on top of that. Your boss don't care anything about you or any of his crew. He's just looking at you lot as tools. You heard him talk about you.
I don't believe this is true. How do you know, or what you saw is true?
I heard James afterwards, and I know what he said. He didn't care damn with Alar dying. He even tried to set the poor bastard ablaze to burn his body to show lacking of any value or lacking of any evidence. And
That
he
is
took on that
simply-
mission just to get you lot killed. From my understanding, I could see it from early on that James was jealous of Alar's magic casting.
That's simply not true.
She looks you up and down and goes, "Yeah, and you'll say anything that James wants you to say."
No, I'm a free thinker. I don't
Yeah?
say what James wants me to say. I say what I want to say.
And what do you have to say about the fact that he was planning to sacrifice you on multiple occasions or threaten to throw your life away just as easily?
He has never done such a thing.
You don't know anything about the man, do you?
I would hope I know something about him since I've traveled with him for 20 odd years.
Shakes her head and goes, You're gonna learn soon enough that you're no more than just another Alar to him. But for now, I have no interest in a tree fucker. I'll be
What?
on my own. So good luck. And she just ignores you, kind of like, excuse me, and kind of turns and starts heading
fuck?
downstairs and disappears before you hear some wooden doors seemingly open and the sound of them closing. As you're left there, kind of wondering.
Oh, my disguise didn't work, so I'm just gonna switch into normal shit.
Okay. After a few moments of awkward silence, you just kind of like stand there thinking about the tree thing, kind of wondering as you cancel the disguise and put your gear back on. You hear as the door behind you unlock as the priest comes walking back in and goes, "So lover spats are, not my specialty, but if I may give some emotional advice, our dear priest has recommended playing hard to get. If you pretend not to like them, it aims to tantalize the interest and keeps very powerful patrons invested into you."
Once again, not lovers. She does not like my boss. She thinks that he is the cause of
If you
her
two
friend's death.
So you ended up dating or going at it with a woman that ended up having a friend die by her own boss. That is rough, my friend. That is counseling that I can't even offer to. I know a fellow though. His name is Chastophilis in town. I've spoken with him once at the tavern, and he is a great gentleman to speak to, and can give you the greatest couples advice.
What do you know of him?
Little or nothing. All I remember is drinking with a fellow, him introducing his name, and then next thing I remember is waking up with a great idea that solved most of what was the issue with my marriage.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I assume
I
he
didn't
ain't
know that
using-
part.
I don't know. I mean, I think I must have told him things as he kind of lightly rubs his head. And he goes, "Well, I was drinking, and he's like an old friend. We just caught up on everything. I don't know. He just has that kind of a inviting smile to him."
Okay. Anyways, should we get to some training?
He nods and goes, "Oh, yes, now that your training opponent is gone, it looks like you'll be working with me. Follow me. We have a little plot of land up on the back of the church's grounds that has gone undeveloped. I've been using it as a semi-training field. Don't mind the bits of bone in the ground. That's from before the city was founded."
Okay.
Oh yeah, long story. Apparently this used to be a graveyard. I don't know. I came over here once when Og settled in, so I have not much information as he begins to kind of like guide you to the back of the church and kind of around and outside, taking you to what looks to be a pretty open field with what kind of scattered bits of bone that seem to poke out every once in a while, like little rocks as you walk by.
Does this seem like a mage?
Looking him up and down, give me an appraisal check or a profession mercenary.
I do a spellcraft.
Sure, I'll take spellcraft. Best you'll get those if it's unless you're critting as if he's a divine or arcane caster, or if he's not a caster at all. So
Well, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So.
fair enough.
14.
14. He does seem to be a magic caster. He is a divine caster, from what you can tell.
Okay.
Though his magic, in a comparison to James, seems to be quite faint, as just a level as you two head out into the field.
Oh, fainter than James's?
Yes.
Okay.
Meaning, he doesn't seem to be a high caster, from what you can tell.
Alright.
And then I'm just gonna roll something for that. Okay. As he begins to train and work with you, give me a d20 roll, Rollman.
You want me to add anything to it or just d20?
Just d20.
Okay.
His one
18.
first level spell, exactly. 18. You can add temporarily 20 points to your HP as temp HP, and as well temporarily a +2 to your strength.
Okay.
As
kind of
he
bonus?
begins to work with you. Sorry.
What kind of bonus? Was like an untyped bonus?
Yes, this is just something he is going to be giving you temporarily.
Okay.
As he begins,
Cool.
this isn't a spell effect. This is just from him working with you as a secondary thing for this character. As he begins to work with you and train you, the only thing that you catch throughout all of this is that his aura seems to begin to give you more and more strength. Almost as if your body begins to grow as he roars out like a dragon and seems to almost fight like a dragon lord itself. You two begin to spar through the rest of the day as the sounds of your weapons can be heard clinging off of each other. He does seem to pull out what looks to be a long quarterstaff at first, but later seems to grab out of his bag of holding on his hip what looks to be a long sword that is large, and what looks to be a large tower shield.
I'll switch to a shield and a sword as well when he does that.
Okay, as the two of you begin to kind of work and fight and kind of train for the next few hours. All right, we'll come back to you in a bit, Rolliman. James, now that you're back, and Chastophilis. As the two of you manage to kind of back away quickly out of as Rolliman is getting accosted by this child, kind of beginning to read scripture, and Rolliman looking a little bit confused, as well as trying to looks as if he's trying to let the child down gently without knowing how to do so. As he looks like he's trying to pick his words. As you two begin to back away quickly, leaving him there, seeing Cinder kind of doing the same as Cinder seems to take a quick jump down a corner road, vanishing out of sight as you two follow similarly after, not after Cinder in that direction, but heading towards the east as you kind of duck behind a road and find one of the side roads. Where are you two wanting to go and look into?
I would be looking to look into the stores and what shops are in the city, getting a good idea of what's sold, what the city might need to be sold.
Okay, give me a gather info roll.
I'm not great at these. Let me double check my bonus. Yeah, I'm really not good at these.
Okay. And then Chastophilus, are you just
Yeah.
following after James, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I'm following along with him, going kind of shop to shop, seeing what's there.
Okay.
I'm more interested in because I'm still interested in like what's being sold and services and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more interested in like if there are specific medicines being sold or specific like potions uh or magic items that are being sold to defend against certain
Okay.
diseases.
Okay. Give me also a gather info
Okay.
as you two kind of begin heading through the shops.
Gather info. Um, oof. 14.
14. Okay. Give me a second. I'm just gonna save James's player like 1,000 times of going back and rewatching this, even though I do appreciate the 40 views every episode.
40 views from 1,000 rewatches? Wow.
That's how the joke goes. I'm just kind of noting the locations because you asked for each of them, and then last one. Cool. So those are the known locations. The top four are the only businesses in town if you don't count the market as a business, as it is a market stall. But as you kind of begin to head through James and Chastophilus, you manage to find what looks to be three separate smithies, each specializing in their own materials. The Sariel Singing Smithy, known mostly for its evil-lined and evil-damage weapons and items, as well as only offering items that seem to be large or larger for sale. The House of Virtue is a well-known, it seems to be divine and arcane smithy who specialize in magic items and goods, specifically as they seem to have a large amount of dragon scale armor on display for sale, although each valued at around between 2 to 10 million GP at the lowest. As you kind of pass by, a few of them, James, you do notice have the words of Eider written onto them as signed with his marking.
I'm going to give a smile of pride. That's my cousin. Ooh. And then I'm going to curse him for silently because he should have shared the scales.
Yeah. Next, Scald, the Greedy Flames Fiendish Smithy, is well known for its crafting its items for slaying specific beasts. The owner specifically seemingly to be a ranger who enjoys hunting, and killing, individual known, creatures. Specifically, they do seem to sell poisons and such, but most of it's to order. They don't seem to do any, general goods at the store. Lastly, Delphin's Market seems to be a market where almost all of King's End kind of empties out into. It is the port. It is the main connection, or is right next to the main road out of the city towards Velcomen and Night and Rimperser's Last Hold. And looks to be where a majority of the market stalls are set up. It is split between what looks to be roughly about 3 factions of merchants. Those who seem to be of the general or non-aligned groups that are just sailors that coming in to drop off goods before they head on to night or head out back to sea. The second faction seem to be amongst that mountain giant, who seems to have a large amount of giants and snowbeards working under him, as they seem to kind of work about the stalls, coming back and handing him gold and gems as they do their sales. And then lastly, Delphin herself and her what looks to be nymphs who are seemingly fluttering and moving about the crowd quite quickly. Many of them young women that look to be almost like sea elf like with features that seem to kind of move about the crowd, charming individual sailors and merchants who seem to be unaware of what the creatures actually are, selling them goods for way above their value. Most of them seemingly having to do with mundane or charm based items. You do notice amongst them there is an item that looks to be marked at the in Delphin's market at the center of the square. It is what looks to be a large trident with its fork kind of slightly broken. The two outer forks are completely broken off and look to be just kind of held up there on the statue, almost like a frame of sorts, to show as if the piece was one solid item. The Trident itself does have a 5 million GP market price tag on it as you pass by, but otherwise the rest of the items amongst the shop seem to be mostly mundane or items that have been stolen and are being resold here. Continuing on towards the church, actually passing by the castle first, you do note that there do seem to be merchants that seem to go about the main castle grounds, heading over towards the large manor on the or off to the left of the castle that seems to be almost broken down and still being rebuilt. Only the first few layers of brick still having been replaced, as a lot of the building is still being adjusted and fixed. The manor off to the left, though, looks to be a pretty decent-sized building where merchants seem to be going in, some handing off gifts, as you kind of hear whispers of that Og is very big on gifts, as well as very kind to most of the local merchants and those who are global merchants passing through. Beyond that, as you finally kind of come to your last stop of Ella Ugbo's church, being the only church really in town that kind of that seems to be set up at this point, many of their followers amongst the town do seem to sell holy items. Almost all of them have to do with seemingly minor abilities, such as bless on the weapons and such. However, the church does provide what looks to be +1 weapons and armor, out on the side, as you notice, a small blacksmithy shop that's been built in. That's not crude, but it definitely looks like someone's almost like personal design, not a merchant shop. As you kind of walk in, looking around, you do recognize a few tools with Eider's markings on them.
Cousin, my god, note to self, send him some money to build a better forge.
But between the two of you, as you try to gather info, most of this town seems to specialize in making metal and animal-based products. Almost all of it seems to, for James, for your reference, seems to be materials for war, so weapons, armors, stuff like that. They are very good at their magical crafting here for those materials. Wondrous items and non-magical gear that is like more wooden and such seems to be harder to come by amongst the town, as well as potions, as even the inn does not offer any potions at all. For Chastophilus, as you look about, besides the very specific like evil lined and evil damage weapons that seem to be offered specifically at Sariel's singing smithy, poison wise, you don't see any poisons that are shown on any of the shelves, and there does not seem to be any ability to order any in town as you go about. Nothing seems to be unique other than some of the armors that you catch amongst the Ella Ugbo church seem to be made of what looks to be giant leather, which kind of catches your attention, being that this is a very giant, heavy town. It's kind of strange that that's the case, that someone has made something like that, as you kind of catch that kind of hanging up off to the side in the church's smithy. But otherwise, nothing else catches your attention. As far as like poisons, potions, or anything of the sort, none of those items seem to be really sold in these areas.
So, a shop that can sell wood items on potions would do fairly well here, since there's probably a market for it. Now the question is, setting up a stall would mean that either you have to join one of the other factions, or start up a fourth one. Interesting. While traveling around town, was there any? Did I hear any whispers or anything about how? I doubt it. I'd have to look into it. I'll have to look into how to purchase land here
Give me a listen check.
and whatnot.
13. As you catch some of the catch some of the merchants talking, there really unfortunately doesn't seem to be much mention about it. Kind of looking, even amongst the town, the church, the little news that you've heard about this church popping up seemed to have just popped up. There doesn't seem to be an order to land. So as you kind of think about it, guesstimating it, you probably are going to have to go deal with Og himself or one of his representatives to get anything.
Which means needing a gift on hand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do have some interesting things that I keep on hand, but nothing I consider.
Okay.
Amazing.
So in this town, there's no like hospitals or sick houses either.
Nope, not from what you can tell.
Interesting.
The few people that have been looked to be about to town that get injured seem to be almost killed out in the streets, and the bodies seem to be taken to the graveyard itself.
And it's all injury. It's not disease, huh?
You have not seen a single individual diseased in this town since you showed up here last night.
That's fucking wild. This place disturbs Chestophilus.
As Chestophilus kind of looks around, almost not really being able to see the eyes of the individual, but the surprise still being there as far as the emotion.
Yeah. James, have you acquired the information that you wanted?
I believe I have. I know what the market needs here, especially with this being close to a war front, but sadly my potion specialist isn't around for us to profit. Nor do I have the potion crane on hand, otherwise I'd be making a killing right now.
Hmm. So, we leave.
We should probably head back towards the inn. Or if we can hunt down Cinder, I have a little request as I will pick up. I will see if I can purchase a good 3-foot cube of a nice looking stone.
Okay. As you head into town, I will say there's not many people are selling, look to be selling stone outright. Most of it seems to be construction equipment on the market, and or you, from what you've heard amongst a few merchants that seem to be passing by, again, buying it straight from Og's own personal household, as they seem to manage almost all the natural resource rights.
I need a 3-foot cube of stone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will. I need a shelf for later because either way, buying a shop here is going to require going through all that. As James will make a little note and stuff it in with the other ones that apparently fill a single pocket onto it on his jacket.
Wait, what? Sorry, what?
Still heading to the inn then.
Okay.
Not gonna go bother Og yet because one, don't really have an adequate gift on hand.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of heading through the streets, kind of seeing the water fountains that are frozen. Many people seemingly like picking at them as they do to then toss buckets in and pull the water out and kind of continue on. Chestophilus, I will mention to your own note from earlier on the medicine thing. This town does have what looks to be a large amount of water fountains and a huge river that runs through most of the town. A lot of this town seems to be very clean by the look of it. So, to your kind of your own knowledge, which is having water run through an ice town like this already in itself is a pretty impressive feat.
Mm-hmm.
But as you kind of see people going about their business, many of them seemingly kind of eyeing you two up as you pass by, heading back towards the inn. We'll come back to you lot in a minute.
Hmm.
All right, Cinder. I assume you're going to be heading back to the inn after you finish up your gathering of info.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then as you kind of head back, I'm going through confirmation here real quick, and then roll them in. After about 2 more hours of training, totaling about 3 hours overall, are you cool with heading back to the inn around midday, or are you trying to come back towards evening?
I mean, if they'll let me come back, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll come back to them.
Yeah. I mean, if you signal that you're looking for a break, the guy's not gonna kind of keep you going the entire time. Though you are left uninterrupted as rain does not seem to return.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ask him where that door goes.
As you kind of head back towards it, he just points to the bottom cellar and then points to the cellar doors on the side of the church.
Okay.
I mean, even kind of showing you down, you can see most of it looks to be just where they keep the alcohol that they're brewing for the churches, either to sell or to offer to its flock. As well as you kind of look down there, seems to act as a semi-storage for some of the metals from the smithy on the side of the building.
Eat.
But yeah, as you kind of start heading back, running into Cinder, as you do in James and Chastophilus not shortly after it, as you all head towards the inn, finding yourselves a nice quiet table or booth off to the corner in the back of the tavern, giving you a fair view of the not only the door but most of the people kind of moving in and out. One of the what looks to be kobold kin kind of working amongst the crew or amongst the inn itself comes walking over handing you each drinks, what looks to be a seasonal stew of berries and some sort of boar meat, not really even taking your order as they do and looking kind of nodding to you as they walk away. Their blackened kobolds or their blackened scales seemingly kind of glimmering as their 4 foot tall kind of frame seems to hit the light. You do notice a lot of their almost obsidian black scales glimmer a little green, almost emerald green, as they head back to deal with other customers.
Well, how was everybody's trips?
May I roll? This is mean nature, I guess, on what kind of dragon they're specifically related to. Because black dragons, I don't think twinkle green.
Correct. Yeah, knowledge, nature, or I'll take a survival check.
My nature's better.
As Rolliman says this, with Cinder kind of eyeing up the waiter.
Found something you like?
Mm-hmm. No.
No. No. Okay.
They look to be 4 foot tall, a battle dragon. And as you kind of take a second, they look almost identical, Cinder, to the dragon lord that just recently risen, except for the fact that they're 4 foot tall and definitely a kobold.
So that's pretty fast for them to suddenly be here, huh?
Mm-hmm. And have an inn that is, as you look about, kind of hearing Roman and James and their light conversation, the very crowded inn. As you look about, this person looks to be kind of giving orders amongst the other staff.
Let's see if I should be concerned. Which one's the fucking battle dragon?
As Cinder kind of pulls out his little history book with notes and starts looking through it, Rollman and James and Chastophilus.
Well, how was your guys' trip?
Pretty good. We now know that, one, this is about the only inn in town.
Okay.
2, there are no potions sold anywhere in the city.
Really?
And wood items are fairly rare.
I mean, I think the portions thing is more apparent or important as this town is probably going to be in a war.
Well, you're not considering the fact that weapons made of wood are a thing too there, including shields. Most shields consist of metal and wood.
Mm-hmm.
there's just that type of problem. So if I do open a shop here, that'll be probably the aim I go for. The angle I come from is hiring an alchemist to stay here and brew potions.
Something for the future then.
And maybe a druid to come and craft with wood for home goods and the like.
As James kind of begins jotting this down in his little notebook of shop info.
Hey, I did keep good note.
Notes.
I don't see a battle dragon. I don't see a...
Mhm.
Also, you spelled
Um,
Og wrong.
I figured I did. I just went with how I sounded it out. I was like, it can't be the simple O. It's like,
It
it
is.
is.
It always is.
Anyways, I unfortunately did meet Rain.
That's not good.
Yeah, and she does not like you. She thinks you killed Alar. Or is it the cause of his death?
Well, in truth, I'm not exactly blameless there, but I did tell him to run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rain doesn't understand that he sacrificed himself.
I don't blame them.
So they want to kill you.
That I do blame them for. You didn't let it slip that we accidentally resurrected Alar into that place, did you?
Excuse me, what? I don't think Roman knows that he got resurrected
You were
to
there for that.
It
I
was
was I was there for
explained
the
to me.
ritual, but I don't know
It
about
was
the
explained to all of us.
why who?
Fucking,
Croton?
what's his name? Right hand of Utham.
Croton.
Oh.
Roten.
Yeah, all of us.
No, yeah, I didn't say that.
Thank God. Otherwise, I think she would have immediately hunted me down and killed me.
But yeah, she doesn't like you, so try to stay away from her.
I will.
I have a quick question.
I may have a quick answer.
The one they call Alar, alive?
Yes, he's alive, but not in a very good place.
Where would that be?
Are you speaking to James telepathically?
Yeah,
You hear
like all of Chestophilus is speaking this
immediately. You get a response of worry and then Abaddon.
Hmm.
The epic level spell that went off in Utham's land. Oh, a few months ago now. Month or two ago now, was a resurrection spell trying to resurrect something else, and we redirected it to resurrect Alar, and a couple other people that we knew. Melvin included in that.
Have you communicated with him since?
I don't have the means to.
Hmm. Troubling.
I would pay a great amount to be able to bring him off of that plane.
Hey, maybe he likes it down there. Who knows?
Well, with the last soul he fused with, if I remember correctly, was the one he said that conquered the material plane.
Well, just footnotes. Don't mind those, Wolf.
Okay, understood. Hmm. Yes, very troubling. And can he leave?
I wouldn't see why he wouldn't be able to if he can find one of the ways out, or if someone were to remove him from there.
Chestophilus nods and goes back to his drink.
We might have a slight problem.
What's the problem?
The waiters are related to a recent dragon leader, and how quickly they got here and set up is concerning.
Okay.
The
Can I
leader's
sense-
the leader's an aggressive cannibal.
Okay.
Wait, what is the leader's name?
I think it's Pavel.
That rings a bell. Isn't that the one that tried to eat Rolleman?
The one that tried to eat you too. They were trying to schmooze you into letting you eat you.
Yeah, because I think it was Pavel, Tarasa, and Himkin were the three that showed up.
Yep. Yep.
I think
Ah.
Rasa's the cannibal. No, Pavel insulted Rolleman and called him a primitive. I believe.
Pavel was the one that was half flirting with the shadow magic, trying to eat.
Yeah, Pavel. I have it up. Pavel's title is the Wild Cannibal.
Oh, then never mind. I have those flipped. I thought it was Tarasa. My apologies.
Tarasa's the howling dragon that's oddly charismatic.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
And very
yeah.
racist.
That was it. Yeah. So it was Tarasa that was giving Rolleman and James insults, and it was Pavel. Yep. You're right.
The one that tried to purchase Rolleman during the auction for the plot.
Okay.
That is concerning.
I mean, it's just.
I'd like to
What do you
sense
mean?
motive the waiters.
Okay. Yeah. Give me a sense motive. And what are you trying to gather from this exactly?
Their general, essentially, if they're trying to act as spies or with any ill intent.
What do you consider acting like spies?
Spies
Gathering
are spectrum.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that could
This
be
is
that
true.
could vary depending on what they're gathering.
They could be civilians that casually pass info. They could be professional spies.
Yeah. So to be clear, so what do you mean by spy-like info that you're trying to catch? Are you just trying to catch if they seem to be outright hostile, or
Let's go with hostile at all.
okay?
Yeah.
Based on what you're saying and as you look about, it doesn't seem like they even take notice of many of the customers. This individual, as they seem to pass about, a couple of the giants seem to recognize and seem to be talking to kindly. As you kind of looking over the rest of the help mixing or being a mix of Heliovoli and kobolds. Most of them seem completely to be neutral. There's not seemingly anything hostile, other than the occasional sense of hostility when a customer grabs the ass of a female or male waiter or the wait staff that's kind of walking around. Beyond that, no, nothing else. Yeah, fully understandable.
It's expected.
But beyond that, yeah, nothing else kind of seems to be. There's no hatred, no animosity, other than what you'd expect at a normal restaurant towards customers.
All right. Well, I'm not feeling any hostility, really.
No, of course you don't. They'd be idiots to show hostility if they're just civilians.
Yes. Is there a problem with like civilians being here from?
It's not a problem with them being here. It's how fast they got here and set up an inn from the Dragon Lord Rising. You don't just show up with a bunch of the same species and set up an inn in a faraway city when your city just popped up. It doesn't happen that fast.
Hmm.
And to clarify something I stated earlier, I messed up my notes, and I did just see this. When I said they look like the dragon, one of the recently risen dragon lords, that is actually a misunderstanding. My note, my apologies. So to correct that, they look like one of the clans that was noted for being wiped out after a dragon lord rose. So my
Okay,
apologies.
that's more understandable.
Yes.
No, that's even weirder.
So yeah, that's the only thing I want to kind of clarify is because I was that was a mix up on one of my notes from a different group. Yes. So to note, they look like a group or they're a member of a clan that got removed or wiped out during the Dragon Lord Ascension.
Do I know what clan?
Based on your rule from earlier, let's do a fresh roll because I don't remember what it was. Give me a knowledge, history, or knowledge nobility.
I can probably help with knowledge history.
Zrolman continues enjoying his stew, watching the two snowbeards kind of stare on, trying to put everything together.
Who got it?
All right, between the two of you, yes, you recognize this as the clan called Pra, P-R-A. They are a battle dragon specific clan. They were most notable for having lost their titles to Pavel, having barely escaped. The clan having barely escaped. Originally noted for having two near ancient members of their clan that were eaten or killed during the rising of the latest Dragon Lords. No one knows how. Not much is known about what happened to this clan and how they lost. The only thing that is known is they were expected to rise as one of the main Dragon Lords, as they had the most prominent power outside of the ones who had already risen. To Cinder's knowledge, this group is also known as one of the members who are collectively working amongst the dragon pits and seem to act as specifically security for the creatures that are worked on. This includes those that are successful and those that are failures. These are normally, from your own knowledge, typically seem to be very trained and capable, both in casting and martial capabilities.
Cinder's eyes kind of twitch, and then he goes back to looking down at his food and not towards the waiters.
Well, if they're just refugees, then it's not super weird that they set up and a town and set up an inn.
They don't deserve refugees.
Well, you got beef with them?
I just stare at Rollman and then just don't say anything. And just go back to what I was doing.
I'm gonna take that as yes.
Well, let's not start any drama.
I wasn't
Or any
gonna.
problems.
As you kind of say that, you see as a small figure seems to kind of come walking over, almost looking like a one of the gremlins after midnight and having been given water. This
It was right after
creature-
midnight. Oh god.
This creature looks like it is like a bit of goblin-like in design, but it's got brownish flesh with bits of black and white fur that seem to spot throughout it, not in any way that seems to provide a cover of its body, unfortunately. The rest of it looks to be wearing typical leather ranger's gear, a short bow on his back, what looks to be a leather jerkin, and some leather trousers. As you see them walk over and smile up at you as you recognize Ulk.
Does he still have the belt?
He does. His eyes also glimmer a bright gold as he seems to smile at you and walking over to you lot.
Hello, Ulk.
Hi! As he kind of smiles up and goes, how have you been?
Alright.
Perfect. And he kind of smiles and goes, James, right? I've been
James is looking at him carefully.
I've been told to give you a letter by my master. As he kind of digs down into his bag, his little bag of holding on his hip, and kind of pulls out a letter with a large M seal on it, in blackened ink, and he hands it to you, and looks at you and smiles and goes, "This is from Master from the Dragon Pits." As he says, not whispering this at all and quite loudly to your dismay. Thankfully, though, many of the giants and Heliovoli kind of seem to be about their business, and the tavern being quite loud. No one immediately looks like they've noticed as you kind of take a quick glance over.
I have no business with them.
I just hold
I'll
my hand.
take it tentatively.
As Cinder goes to grab it, as you take it attentively, he kind of smiles as he hands it off and goes, "Oh, and I recommend only letting your uncle read it first so he can remove what he needs to know, as was told by my master."
I pass it off to Cinder.
I'm not reading this in public.
Ult kind of smiles and goes, "Oh, and Rolaman, I've been told to pass on a message to you specifically.
Okay.
Stay away from the Morin family. There are sisters. I've been told that if you are spotted near one, James will lose his company and everything he cares about."
I just laugh.
Hold on, I'm adding to my notes. There's more Morons still around. Hold on.
Ult kind of nods.
I look at Rolaman and go, if you go to screw any of them, I will castrate you with a rusty spoon.
Female
You think so
Morin
little of me, James?
still alive.
No, I just know that fate seems to favor putting you in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking you very carefully. Please think before you do anything.
You should know me.
Nephew, don't you wonder what what these two species together would do. They're both very powerful on their own.
Oak just kind of looks at both between the lot of you blankly, and then like stares at Chastophilus, then looks away almost immediately as almost something seems to click in this creature's head, and then turns back to James and he holds out his hand and goes, "Tip."
I will
Hello,
pull out
little
from
man.
the bag of coining
Kind of like turns.
3 gold pieces.
He takes the gold. Are you saying this out loud, Chastophilus, or are you speaking in his head?
Chastophilus, to be so clear, can only speak
I
in people's
figured.
heads.
I love. I was just gonna keep asking if he speaks in my head.
As
Yeah.
Oak kind of like turns and speaks out loud and goes, "Oh, you can hear my thoughts. Oh no, don't pay attention to the things I'm thinking right now, or that, or
Oh,
or this."
What is he thinking?
Chastophilus doesn't know. He's not using detect thoughts. He's just
I'm
listening to the
not
guy's
detecting thoughts.
Yeah, this is just
I
a
just-
telepathic link.
Quick
Cock
probe.
my head.
Hulk doesn't know that.
Nope.
I cock my head at him. You're a dirty little man.
You see the look of happiness to horror on his face go, "I'm gonna have to murder your entire bloodline." Okay. As he turns and like
my
starts
God.
skipping out the doorway.
Wow.
That's a threat right there.
Chastophilus asks in his head as he's skipping away. So you declare war on the Chasts.
You hear back in a telepathic connection, "I declare war on Zebril. Bring it on!" And then the creature
Oh my
disappears.
Holy shit!
As the
And
doors
then-
open,
and then what?
as the creature disappears,
Bring it on.
as the doors open and they seem to dissipate behind them, your telepathic connection almost severs immediately somehow, and you're unsure how.
James,
The first war of the new
Yes.
As you hear in your
can I
head,
please have that creature's name?
His name is Oak. He has a very magical belt. Ancient artifact level, if I remember correctly. And he may or may not work for Cataclysm.
Incredible. Thank you.
He's also a little freak that collects soul coins.
He does collect soul coins.
Also very quick to react if you ever want to like get the jump on him. It's very hard to do.
Yes, if you attack him when he's unconscious or otherwise, the belt will snap him awake.
Can you tell me any information you might have about this belt?
I'll describe
Besides that it's an artifact and it snaps him awake.
It seems to make him a bit dull. Quite a bit dull.
Didn't he have
But-
like a -20 to certain checks?
Yeah, he believes our
It's
lies really easily.
Think of it as a Toth artifact. It's very powerful, but comes with big drawbacks. I wasn't able to nail down what they were because I wasn't able to identify it at the time. Given that when we realized what its effects were, we were kind of being attacked by Mr. Hands. God, Mr. Hands.
Just so you know what's going on. Actually, I can do this over messages. I'll let. Sorry.
No, that's fine. As
Yes,
James kind of
things
explains it. Sorry, go ahead, Drillman. I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And thus things happened.
Yep. As Chastophilus seems to like almost pull inwards and seems to almost disconnect from the conversation. Still lightly paying attention, but it seems James almost as if Chastophilus is in his own head, kind of thinking at this point as he seems to stop focusing on you.
Oh, I've shared all the information I really have on it, because again, I couldn't get much else on it.
Okay. We weren't asking you to do more information.
Well, today's been more exciting than I thought it would be. Uncle, I'll take a look at the letter after you've done whatever you need to do with it.
I don't think you want to read this.
Probably not, because I feel like I'd be incriminating myself.
It's not incriminate. There'll be a lot of people that'll want to know what's in this that'll kill you for it.
We can do it. Eat it.
No, I just don't want someone reading James's mind.
Oh, okay.
It's easy.
Yeah, because then, as Uncle said, they're likely to read my mind, then kill me to make sure that they're the only ones that have the information.
Yes. If my nephew doesn't know, they'll most likely just walk away.
Or kill him just cause.
Well, at that point, it doesn't matter, does it?
No.
So I'm not sharing it anyway.
It's safer to not share it until it's needed.
No, it's not going to be needed. I don't think there is a situation you will need to know what is in this letter, unless you decide to, I don't know, attack Mavasi.
Oh, hell no, I'm not touching that.
That's what I thought.
Anywho.
The only people I'd probably give that information to, I'd sell it for a very high amount of coin, and then that'd lead to other problems.
I spelled territory wrong. Don't mind that, Chaston. You're used to my misspelling. I was just so.
It's fine.
Okay.
So, we were told that the meeting at the tavern was at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, roughly at this point, it's about 2-3ish. People are gathering, but and I mean it is dark enough out with the heavy snow. However, as you look about the tavern, no one kind of catches your eye immediately, Rollman, without a check, if that was your intention. But go ahead.
I'd like to make sure that Rain isn't in the tavern.
Give me a search check.
Yeah, this is a piece of paper, right? Like, it's rolled up parchment?
Not rolled up. It's a sealed letter with the black wax mark of not Morin with Morin on it, but seems to have an M on it. And as you look at it, it seems to be designed with Melvin's supposed name of the clan of Inn.
Yeah. Once it's open, can I just cut it in half to hand James the James part?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you could easily tear it without issue, yeah. Kind of handing it over to James as you do.
I'll send him that.
Yep. And James with a 5 as you look about, a little bit suddenly a panicked urge in your head as you realize that you don't know where Rain is as you look amongst the crowd. There's a lot of faces moving about as you kind of look. As suddenly as you kind of start looking, you feel as Cinder kind of lightly bumps you and hands you the letter, slightly torn as he does.
Oh, thank you, Uncle.
Just erase.
I'll whisper to Roland, make sure Rain doesn't sneak up on me.
Okay. She's not in here, but all right.
Paranoid little guy.
He doesn't like dying.
I don't like the idea of being slaughtered or having parts of me removed.
As you kind of say this, give everyone give me a spot check, including Chastophilus.
Can I do a search?
Sure.
There you go, Cameron. There's your half of the letter.
25.
Okay, nice. 19.
James got half a letter.
He did.
18.
18, and then Cinder. 20.
20.
As all of you notice, a figure kind of step into the tavern. Their black fur. They're roughly 8-foot tall figure. A long, looks to be almost sorcerer-like robes that seem to flow with arcane energy as you see little bits of blue light glimmer and kind of form arcane runes on it. A large staff in their hand, and their big, bright green eyes kind of glowing as they look over towards you lot as they enter into the tavern. Immediately, almost kind of catching your glances, seems to start walking in that direction. This looks to be similar to the figure you were told that sounds like Jin Tree.
Hey, Cinder, I think it's the person you know. Or think you know. Oh.
James will put on his merchant smile.
As they start to walk towards your general direction, they make it about 10 feet into the tavern, and then kind of locking eyes with James, seems to turn immediately and stop at another table and sit down with them and start talking to a group of giants.
Thank God.
Great
James
assumption.
relaxes.
Who was that, Roman? Sorry?
Great deflection.
Thank you.
If that was
Years of
your
merchant
cousin.
training.
As he mentions this, Rollman, to your own knowledge, James did not go to any school. He has no formal education in merchanting.
You learned this from your family. You didn't go to a school, man.
Yeah, that's training.
Okay.
It's like an apprenticeship program.
There's no program. It was just your family telling you things.
Is there
On
a
a program.
problem with that suddenly?
No, I'm just distinguishing the difference between the two things.
Alright.
As you're kind of looking about, I will say the tavern does start to get fuller as you notice, a few moments later, another figure kind of stepping in, what looks to be a short, almost cat-like figure, long blonde locks kind of flowing off the side, a bright orangish fur, what looks to be almost similar to James's traditional noble merchant attire, except almost emblazoned in gold and having little bits of what looks to be soul coins kind of draped across the merchant's outfit, almost like little medals. What looks to be a four eldritch giants, each in heavy black metal, kind of heavy black plate metal, walking behind him as he steps in, kind of looking around. You hear as he speaks out in a strange language, which I don't think. Let me double check something. Want to make sure I'm right on my language note here before I push forward, because I don't recall. Did they have a... No. Oh, yes. Do any of you speak Infernal?
I do!
Ah, perfect. Rollman, I assume
I
not.
also do.
Zebril
I do
or
not.
Chastophilis does. Okay, and then Cinder, I assume, is still on mute, dealing with something.
Cinder's sleeping.
I'll sleep in the soup.
As this individual kind of shouts out and goes in Infernal. All right, y'all little bastards! Someone get me a piping hot meal and something to swallow it down with. As you see the dragon, or the koboldkin from earlier that had kind of taken your order turn and seems to kind of walk over and start speaking in Infernal, kind of guiding them over to a booth on the opposite side of the inn.
So they crump.
Looking him up and down, he looks like the description of the Crump that James had managed to gather. This looks to be Crump Sr.
Wow. I know that guy.
Crump Senior. Great. I look at the letter, and I really wish I had a way to tell Kix Crump Senior's here right now. My end of the deal's done. I found him.
As you kind of think this, wishing something would happen, nothing happens. As he kind of goes about yelling and ordering, you hear him refer to himself as, "You dare to make the great Zareth wait? How dare you all!" As his eyes flash a bright red for a moment, and you see the kobold battle dragon looking individual had been taking your orders. Their eyes begin to glow red as well, and they seem to almost like a robotic stance go from a very fluid like movement to begin to walk robotically back to the kitchen and bring out food for them.
Is that illegal?
Ooh,
Can I try to
mind
recognize
control.
that level of magic?
Yeah, give me a spellcraft check.
Okay. $18.
18. Give me a moment. I'm just pulling up a note for myself here. This is not a spell. However, this looks to be a natural ability of the individual creature. It is magical, as you can guesstimate. You'd accumulate this to the closest of a beholder's gaze attack, recognizing this individual as somewhere at least at minimum around a 5th level caster. which would put him at a very high ranking amongst the global elites. Not counting world leaders, this guy would be amongst the top 100 casters in the world, from what you gather on that.
Hmm. We're on 5th level for that. Well, then, still not quite our issue if he gets caught. Is that, as Chastophilus asked, is that illegal?
Rollman
what I
asked
said.
that, not
Or Rollman
Chastophilus.
asked.
Um,
Sorry.
Yeah, as you take a second, do you have profession lawyer?
No.
Give me an intelligence check. And if that fails, you'll give me a wisdom check.
18?
18. There's not any laws against using magic, but dominating someone or like using charm magic is very uncommon, especially for such a low-level interaction. If this individual's throwing up magic like this, he's probably a lot more capable than he's giving on, for something such a common meal such as this. But kind of looking him up and down for a second, it doesn't. No one seems to react. No, the town seems to do anything. And as long as no one's getting hurt, doesn't seem like the guards are going to do anything that are sitting in the tavern itself, as they seem to just kind of watch eating their own meal.
But they are keeping an eye on Crump.
They seem to be looking over towards him, towards a hooded figure it looks to be kind of on the opposite side of the tavern next to the door, kind of sitting there in one of the booths, as well as what looks to be the Rakshasa figure who just walked in.
Okay. Trust the guards for right now. And relax and let things progress as the evening goes on.
Yeah. As you lot continue enjoying yourself, relaxing and enjoying the meal, more and more what looks to be groups come in. A group of what looks to be 3 heavy plate or full-plated snowbeards kind of come in, finding themselves a booth, not marked with the Iron Warden, but instead looking to be wearing what looks like iron shields on their armor, as they seem to kind of find themselves a chair or a table to sit at. The last figure who seems to come walking in, as you recognize them, their scales, is the appearance of a large dragonkin that stands roughly a little taller than what you remember of Essa. Their bright blue scales kind of glimmering as they kind of walk out. Heavy sorcerer robes over what looks to be full plate, kind of standing there as you recognize Ice.
Hey, not that good.
Oh, I'll give him a wave.
As you do, he kind of looks over at you lot and kind of begins to head over with a smile on his face and goes, "James! Holy shit! I thought you were dead by now. Essa thought put a Deadpool on you and everything."
I'm still kicking, and I plan to for much, much longer.
I'm honestly shocked at that. You lot are surprisingly capable if you've managed to last this long. Essa said that you lot should have died at least a year ago. Shoot, I had a bet on ravaging wolverines would take you out, James. Nothing personal.
Some Smilodons nearly got me at one point, but I'm fine.
Nods and goes, and Rollman, shoot, yours is just a disease that's gonna get killed. But there's a betting pool on how quick your thing's gonna fall off. I've got 5 years if you can hold on to it for a little longer for me.
Don't ever leave.
Well, we'll see about that.
How have you been, Ice?
S has been driving me up a wall. She told me I had to come out here, start looking into this thing called an apex hunter. Said that she was interested in learning about the fella and saying that I need to bring him back and explain how he counts as anything greater than what she does.
Well, we did have a run-in with him.
Fantastic! You're gonna save me a lot of time. Where was the fella?
A fort about a week back towards Nighton, dealing with Big and a new apex monster that appeared in the area called the King of the Lycanthropes.
You mean the giant para-elemental creature that was able to turn into a shadow and...
Yes.
That thing turned into a lycan... How does
It's
shadow
apparently
get...
a lycanthrope now.
How does a shadow get bitten by a... I don't want to know. You said he was, what, 7... You said 7 days? Sorry.
Yes,
And he was fighting these creatures.
He intended to, yeah.
he intended to.
So he's probably not alive any longer.
Given the level of magic I saw him cast, he casually turned wood to stone. So I'm unsure. And he was wielding 2 very significant axes for merchants.
I didn't see him fight, right? Wow.
No,
the
well,
monster.
you all saw a minor glimpse of him smack 2 ghosts that had earlier fucked with James during his like a whole episode that and killed them in a single blow and turned them into coin.
Because I think the main thing you noticed is he was avoiding fighting as long as we were watching.
Yeah, he was just standing there with his axes out to the side until 2 creatures attacked him. But Ice kind of looks at you and nods and goes, "Well, I guess I can take a drink. I doubt he's probably alive anymore. And at least this means that Essa won't bother me."
Given what his last name is, I would doubt that he's dead.
As he kind of takes a glass of ale and goes, "Oh yeah, what could it be? You gonna tell me it's an Aussie member?"
No.
He takes a sip of his ale.
Uncle, do you still have the Vitra?
You're just gonna share this info for free? All right.
This is to Essa. She'll owe us a favor later, and she knows that.
Sure. I'll roll it out. He's related to that Jakix fella.
As you see him kind of spit the ale almost just straight onto Rollman's face, not like completely sputtering.
Can I try and dodge it?
Yeah, give me a reflex check.
Okay. Reflex save.
Yeah.
Apparently they hate each other. And are at each other's throats for goals. Don't know what those goals are, though.
Let's see. As you mentioned this, Rollman managing to get out of the way, seeing the guy turn and seeing ready to spit, and immediately kind of ducking behind James to like lean down as it goes past him, hitting the wall behind you lot. Ice kind of wipes his mouth and goes, "He's a Morin?"
Yep.
Oh, well,
that bit of information is going to be a big favor.
Oh, well, that's good news. I'm not going to be going after that fella. Nope. She can yell at me all she likes with that as he like lightly taps his stuff.
He seemed real confident to 1v1 the Apex monster.
Oh, he ain't kidding. I've seen what that man can do. I watched him tear down, go toe-to-toe with O'Garian when I was younger. I don't want to see that, and he was doing it without breaking a sweat. That guy is not.
He's that old.
Shit, if he ain't older. I mean, I'm surprised the bastard's still kicking. I didn't think it was the Morian fella. He served me when I was younger.
I'm just gonna add incredibly ancient to my note.
Yeah.
Any other information, though, Ice, is going to cost you or need a guarantee of repayment.
Well, here's what I'll give you for free then in exchange for it. When I was a young man, it kind of takes a second to pause. Don't ask how long ago that was.
I guess how long that was, but please, go ahead.
He served as an advisor to me. You know, it's interesting, because he's the one who recommended a fight against O'Garian. He also recommended dueling Movasi before I got my ass kicked out. It's kind of weird, thinking, I was telling Essa about this a while back, and she said that she thinks that he's the one who orchestrated the fall and everything. What was strange is the first thing he ever said to me, though, this is why I don't get what Essa is saying about this, is he said I was interesting and I broke the mold, and that he wanted to see what I would become.
He said something very similar to us before trying to tamper with memories.
He said the exact same thing about, is that part of the memory wipe? When he said that,
the only one that remembers is James.
I remember too, because I wrote it down.
Oh, that's right, yes.
He also said something similar about Utham.
Kind of looks
Okay,
at
you just kind of give that away for free, James? What the hell?
This is more so that there's someone in case we die that knows the information.
He kind of nods at that, and I'm just going to do a quick listen check in the background. Okay. As he kind of continues and goes, "That's good to know. I can tell you a bit what I know about the fella, but beyond, I mean, shit, that was a while ago at this point. I know Movasi kicked him out as soon as I lost power. Said that he was greedy about magic or something. I think there was some people who believe he broke into the vaults where I kept most of our scrolls of the ancient magics that we had discovered. I mean, we had someone do it, but I doubt it would be him. He wasn't that strong, to be honest. I managed to beat him in one-on-one the first time we fought.
Was he holding back on you?
And it takes a second. You see him kind of really thinking. He goes, I'm gonna be honest. There's a chance he was, and that scares me more than anything. If he said this about the Regan and he said this about you lot, my advice, get the hell out of Dodge. The Morans aren't figures that would be messed with that I would look to as an enemy anytime. Best case, they're a good ally, but it's like a poisonous snake, if you will. Or, you ever heard the tale of the scorpion and the frog?
Double-edged blade, I get it.
Yeah, it's in their nature. Morans don't believe in the idea, from what I was able to find out, in any sort of qualms with working with mortals. They'll kill you, devour you. Shoot, at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if they're the ones who created Abaddon and these damn coins.
Who knows?
But take caution with the information, and I will always be happy to do business for other information that we may have.
James at Rollerman Cinder, give me a sense motive real quick.
Okay.
I trust this man too much.
Shocking for you to know that I'm just as good as James at sense motive.
Hopefully you roll higher.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Oh man, I rolled bad.
Chastophilus, I'll leave, since you won't know this firsthand, I won't have you roll for this. You never mentioned Abaddon to this fella, James. Cinder. Sorry, Cinder, to your knowledge. James has not mentioned Abaddon at all during this conversation, nor has he mentioned anything about coins.
Cinder, who's been like leaning back this whole time, not really caring, kind of leans in. What did you just say?
Yeah, he looks up at you and goes, What? What did I say? I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Morans had something to do with Abaddon and the these damn soul coins I've been hearing pop up everywhere.
What's been popping up with them, huh?
What was that? Sorry, I missed what you said.
What's been popping up with soul coins and such?
Oh, he kind of shrugs and goes, There's a group called the Unfortunate Sons that S is keeping track of. Seem to be at the cornerstone of these things. They keep popping up. We had a fella come by, I ran into him not a day or two ago, and I was getting myself set up here at night, and he was, to be fair, dead. His dog, though, handed me, and he pulls out a soul coin and kind of sets it onto the table, and goes, handed me one of these and told me to, and I was basically given a letter. I was supposed to take him somewhere and took the dog with me to the place, and boom, and I was given one of these. The family told me something about some group named the Unfortunate Sons that keeps running into these coins. I will also note... Yeah, go ahead.
Cinder blinks and does not believe a word because a dog handed me this.
I will also mention with the sense motive earlier, Cinder, and roll him in on this, because you both get this, and to Chastophilus' knowledge, if Zebril is sharing everything that he knows about the other parties with him. The Unfortunate Sons have disappeared a while ago. Cinder and Rollerman, the fact that he's mentioning that he just saw them a few days ago, something seems very off, because they've been gone for roughly, for your own knowledge, 6 months, and no one's seen them.
At least not in this area.
Well, that's the global news. They just vanished. Go ahead, sorry.
Gotcha. Would Chastophilus, through Zebril, know of where roughly they've been? Not that it's super, like, matters that you tell me right now, but would he know because Zebril has the connection to Eider?
Yes, Eider's connection with Zebril was severed, not about 3 months ago, roughly. Not, like, permanently, but it seems that every time Zebril seems to connect up with Eider, he can't see anything.
Oh, it's a bunch of snow on the channel.
Wait, that means we're the number 2 ranking channel, guys.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a spellcraft check in the background,
Interesting.
Cinder. Yeah, no worries. Zebril, Chastopoulos, did you have anything else? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I have things that Zebril would probably try to do to change that, but I think that's more of a thing to get to when Sunday's doing their thing.
Okay.
Huh.
Um,
So that's why I kind of shut up.
gotcha. Ba-ba-bum. Give me a second. Roughly. Give me one moment just to answer something. That's roughly what you get. The spell, though, Cinder, you can't tell what it is, which worries you more because that shouldn't be possible with that capable of a roll.
Who am I sitting next to?
So on your right would be James, and then on the right of that would be Rolaman. On your left would be Chastopoulos, roughly.
I kind of put, just slightly reaching over, putting a hand over to James, and I write out "not ice" on his leg.
As you feel this kind of in your leg, James looking down, Ice kind of seemingly distracted, looking at Rolaman and kind of speaking, or kind of then focusing back on his ale.
And then I'll write the number 9, and then spell.
James will take a breath, merchant smile up, and look at Ice. Well, I'm glad we were able to catch up.
He nods and goes, "Oh, shit, yeah, you're right. I gotta get back to Essa if this is the case of it being Kaijin. I honestly don't think I want to deal with this, and I don't think she wants to deal with this either. I'll send your love as far as it goes, James, and let her know that you are thinking about her.
Tell her she owes me a favor for the information. You do any of the other stuff, she's liable to kill you on the spot.
Ain't that the truth? She just is. She's always been a pain and wicked. But you know how the heart grows warmer as he kind of like stands up, downing the rest of his ale. Anyways, I should be getting going. I hear there's mercenary work happening in town, and I'm afraid the soldiers are gonna catch me to enlist me before I can get out. You lot, take it easy and relax around town. Oh, that Jin Tree chick. I warn you, she is scary as hell. I saw what she can do with druidic magic. I'd avoid her at all costs. As he kind of like turns and waves as he starts to walk away.
Oh, nice
Once he's like gone.
Yeah, as he heads out the door, kind of not seemingly sticking around as he vanishes, kind of heading off as you see him.
I glance at James, I glance at Rollman, and I go, "Who the hell was that?"
It's Ice, you know.
They can
it
cast
wasn't.
that much.
No, it wasn't.
They can cast that high, they only know about 3 or 4 beings on this planet currently.
That was a world leader tier disguise spell.
And a world leader at that point wouldn't have had a reason to hide amongst us. They would have walked in and just commanded the room, most of them.
As you look, even at... Oh, sorry, Roman.
Was trying to be sneaky, you know, going and being brash about everything isn't, you know, the greatest.
The two that try to be sneaky wouldn't be caught dead outside their territories or in this territory right now.
Also, the sneakier world leaders can't cast to that level. At least not most of them. Most of the sneaky ones are, well, under half the strength of most of the world leaders.
And they make up for that by being sneaky. So, that either brings it down to the Lich that we dealt with before.
You wouldn't have a read. Well, actually, I kind of look at me.
Shit.
Well, I was gonna say, wait, Cinder, you don't know that? Yeah, go ahead.
Why would a Lich? I don't want to know. Nope, I don't want to know.
Yeah, they have no reason to come back to us.
They have reason to gather information, though.
They would have better methods than us, I would assume.
So, do you not think there's a chance that he is connected or was the guy that you just told me that you remembered the, name and goal of?
There's that chance, but striking me down at this point wouldn't be worth it.
You should really write that information down.
That's a good idea.
As I will
Probably
quickly scribble out the information of what was said to us and the goal and his goal, or at least what he said to us about Regan Utham as well. Fold it up and put it away.
As you begin to kind of write this down for your information, kind of shoving it into your bag of holding out of sight, making sure no one kind of catches it as you finish writing this. Noise.
Note to self also, probably should pass that information off to dear Utham at some point.
Should probably send a letter to this Essa that someone's acting like someone who's apparently close to them.
We'll end up passing through there after we get our ship back. I can stop by and give the information. Or next time we're in Velcomen, I can possibly send a letter if the portals are active. Otherwise, it'll take too long. And by the time they get it, the information won't be exactly relevant.
Not much we can do right now.
You see one of the giants kind of lean over from one of the booths off to the side of you, kind of behind Chastophilus between Chastophilus and Cinder, and kind of pretty light blue skin, looks to be a little bit younger. His eyes seem to though be lightly blue. As you kind of catch a glimpse, they don't seem to focus on any of you, as they just seem to stare straight ahead from the skull. As the giant goes in giant, lightly whispering to you guys, and goes, "Hey, I got a question for you lot.
Okay.
If you don't mind my asking, why are you lot being bothered by the dwarf fella that was there?"
Okay.
Can I
look-
look at this guy's eyes? Does he got like true sight going on?
Yeah, give me a spellcraft real quick.
Okay.
That's more
what did this dwarf
worrying.
look
'Cause
like?
He looks at you and goes, long red hair, red beard, looked angry, horns sticking out of his head that looked like a bull.
I just look to Roland and go, well, your head's not up your ass, so it's probably not him.
Cinder, his eyes they're both fake. As you look in the center, the blue, that's lyrium. He's got death like fake eyes in his head.
So, I'd like to remind my party of something out of the game. That man you just referenced has a son that we heard about on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And that son, shockingly, looks constantly angry and has red hair.
Yeah.
And he probably doesn't hate
most
me or
like-
want to shove my head up my butt.
He seems to hate
Well,
everyone.
that was what I was referencing as James, so it's not the worst option. It's the second worst.
Because what we heard about the son was he was attacking literally everyone he came across.
Yeah,
I'm glad
so-
he didn't attack us.
The second DM, because we heard about him back in the Rakshasa territories.
I was gonna say, I think you heard about the son right fighting on the warfront, because I think you also heard about the other one, who is the one who has been destructive, I believe.
We heard the one we heard about more directly was that he was walking around town at night in one of the Rakshasas, attacking random people and looking for someone.
Oh
And we
no,
avoided
that wasn't Leon. No, that was Raza. Yeah, that was Raza
Yeah.
that you'd know
Well,
for history.
Because I remember one of them was angry, one of them was just a soldier, and we heard about the angry.
Leon is the soldier. He is the one following orders, trying to make his own clan that you guys heard about, and trying to break away from Alfred Stone. Whereas
There
Raza
you
was
go.
rumored to be like.
There you go, James. Odds are you know the guy's name. You know who he is.
But the giant kind of looks at you lot, and with his eyes kind of like glowing slightly, and goes, with him, he's kind of short too, but he's not snowbeard like shaped. I think he was a little bit taller."
Old friend, or acquaintance is probably the better way to put it.
Oh, good. I thought it was that guy we heard about from the that had supposedly discovered a continent. Came back with some giant dragon skull and, God, scared the living hell out of everyone. He gave Og an ancient adamantine dragon as a present. I didn't know that someone could kill something like that. I didn't even know there were ancient creatures of that level, that power.
And no, if that was him, I'm pretty sure things would have
Stop
gone
talking.
worse.
Looks at you, tilts his head as he hears Rollman kind of like speak over you and goes, "Oh, I apologize. I didn't realize you lot don't like dealing with giants. My apologies." As he kind of like turns, giving a little bit of a not really giving a look because his eyes don't really have any sort of like focal point, but his eyebrows seem to kind of narrow a bit, like almost a little bit of a frown appearing on his face at Rollman's comment, and turns to go back to his seat.
Rollman, the gentleman was just asking some small questions.
Yep, and you're about to start spouting some stuff that...
No, I was being very vague, saying that it would have gone worse, and that's where I would have ended it.
That is not what you have done in the
Sometimes it's
past.
better to just not say anything.
James, as you look around, seeing Rollman keeping his eyes amongst the crowd, a few of the giants, as well as some of the other mercenaries that you lot I've noted amongst the group, do seem to be looking over your way, or seem to have quieted down a good bit as far as their discussions go.
Well, James's own perspective on Alfred Stone is he wouldn't have disguised himself to get information. He would have walked in and commandeered it one way or another.
Okay.
So,
But would he? Because last time he tried that, he got sent to the Dark Continent.
That's true.
Yeah, to his own knowledge, he thinks Rollman could still have a lich under him.
Yeah. So Cameron, I repeat, would he do it again?
given the power he's gained, maybe.
No. No
He
fucking way.
escaped. He didn't gain power. He escaped.
No, he did gain power. He's gained
He
levels.
gained power there.
Oh,
He has
okay.
gained a lot of power there.
As far as we know, he's beyond level 20 now.
Anyway.
He had the time to casually bother me a couple of times.
James
But-
thinks back on his horrendous memories.
Point stand. It could have been either of them, and we have no way to differentiate.
That is true. So, for right now, consider the information useful, because it either bought us our lives or bought us time.
No, I think we just inflamed a war.
Let's wait for this announcement.
Yeah, as you lot continue to enjoy yourselves, kind of thinking, contemplating, having light conversation as the night continues on. Eventually, evening comes as the sun, having set a while ago, the clouds outside still darken the skies, or the light seemingly almost giving off a strange, eerie glow. As much of the streets are kind of lined with these candles that seem to light at a specific hour, though not giving off enough light to perfectly see, just enough to give low light vision and be able to move amongst the streets. As you see a few guards come marching in their black armor, recognizing the figure of Bjorn at the head of them. About 12 other guards behind, and what looks to be outside a long line of civilian giants of different races kind of sitting or standing out there waiting. As the captain Bjorn kind of steps up in front of everyone, almost the entire inn goes silent as he speaks up and goes, "All right, Og Brightwing and the Grand Regan have decided that we're heading out tonight. And bad news, there has been 2 apex monsters spotted in our territory. And in good news, one of them is not big. The other bit of bad news is we don't know what the second one is. We have confirmed reports that Big and his grouping of followers have managed to leave the continent, having lost the fight with the creature, and deciding at the current time that the creature is best left alone, as the warning we were given. I want to make clear to any mercenary signing up here: there is a good chance you will all die. If you take this job on, you will be the first on the front line, and you will be expected to give your lives for us. If you run, we will kill you. If you manage to escape, you will be considered and marked as a traitor to the state, and Regan Uthan will be personally backing the bounty on you. With that made clear, anyone who doesn't want to join us, please don't come out to the outer gates, as you will be you will be expected to follow. To the rest of you who still think they're brave enough, I should warn you, if it ain't the giants from Lithotaro's followers that are going to get us, or the apex monsters. We've been hearing rumors of a creature hunting in the wilds with large axes that turn people to coin, and it ain't what we were hoping for. So, and lastly, as I don't have any good news for any of you, it sounds like Velkomen has been put under full siege. The ramp we're up, the staircase that we were expecting to use, has been fully taken. The Thotara's followers have taken the entryway to Velkomen and have caused a full sealing of it. We're going to be working away to get in there from Knighton, and we'll be going, and we're expected to make it into Emperor's last hold within about 3 weeks. I don't know how many of you ballsy enough to fight a god, but if that still sounds like the type of job you want, feel free to follow us as we're getting ready to head out.
I get up and walk over. I get up.
James is hopping up and walking out.
You see the
I guess we're doing
large,
this thing.
Kind of Roland seeing James kind of and Cinder slide out past as Roland kind of follows after. The large Rakshasa female kind of in her druidic robes kind of stands up, or her sorcerer robes kind of stands up, follows after. Crump seems to make a joke in Infernal about something along the lines of calling the Bjorn small-witted, and kind of accommodating him similar to a corpse, and when it comes to intelligence, as he follows after with his little blackguard. The three snowbeards in their heavy armor kind of seem to get up and follow, as well as the hooded figure on the opposite side of the room kind of stands up and follows after. As you lot find yourselves walking out into the snow, it is thick for snow. We're talking about almost 2 feet in height already. That the giants are starting to kind of push out of their way most of the time, mostly with their legs, as well as there's what looks to be a few farmers kind of shoveling down the road.
They just watch me climb the snow and walk over it like it's not there.
They
Same
see
for me.
James snap his snowshoes on and fucking just start walking on it.
Mm-hmm. Rollman, sorry, go ahead.
Same thing.
Yep. Chastophilus who floats, does kind of floats up like Melvin.
He's the beholder.
I imagine Melvin's on just Chestophilus's back at this point.
As you look about,
carrying
Melvin's
him.
been nowhere to be seen this entire time.
Oh well.
He'll be safe.
Since
He
entering
does
in,
like-
since coming to town last night, you never saw him leave his room, but you also never saw him amongst town. Room looked empty when you woke up this morning, and he was nowhere to be seen.
This is the usual for Melvin.
He'll appear under mysterious circumstances later.
As you lot kind of start to head out onto the snow, following after the grouping beginning to kind of grow as you do, as you head towards the western end of the city, seeing the wagon train kind of lined up gear, as well as people kind of already gathering around it, you guesstimate around 50 or so civilians, roughly around 30 or so actual guards, mixed between blackguard as well as normal frost giants. As you count yourselves amongst the lot and the mercenaries, there's only roughly, roughly about 14,
14.
Mercenaries that are signing up, including you four. You four. As you kind of head up towards the wagon, Bjorn kind of seemingly starting to fall back towards you lot as the other mercenaries start to head up towards and catch up with the rest of the civilians as they begin to get their stuff sorted and moved. Bjorn kind of slowing down to you lot, leans down and goes, "So, the Ring and Utham has asked me to speak with you lot as I got a letter. I imagine it's a little late, but I want to confirm something with you lot. You planning to actually come to the defense of the Frost Giants and Regan Utham's nation, or are you just coming along for a paycheck?"
A job's a job right now. And while we are grateful for what we've done, what Reganism has done for us, this part's a job. We'll see what happens when we get there and see what we'll do.
He nods and goes, "Well, then I should give you the other piece of bad news. Woodwalkers finally got an inventory on their shop and setup from Meadmancer's attack. Well, there's good news. Most of the ships are intact, and thankfully none of the wood was set on fire, so everything should be workable. Bad news, looks like your ship's been stolen."
That's why they have that policy.
"Yeah, but the problem
Who
is,
stole it?
that's exactly the issue. We don't know. We think it was Meadmancer, as it makes the most sense, but we can't confirm, as there were some individuals that were in the shop walking about that are unaccounted for, and we're not sure if they're dead or if they're the responsible parties. But two of the figures are marked amongst our mercenaries right now," as he kind of points his head over towards the hooded figure walking that. As you kind of start to get a look at them, Rollman, you do recognize finally the black hood to be Rain, kind of keeping themselves covered over.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
And then kind of points his chin towards the other figure of Connell Crump Sr. and goes, "Those two were believed to be at the scene or near the scene during the time. Regan has asked me to ask you lot to figure it out. He says if you lot can get him evidence of who stole the ship and confirm it wasn't Meadmancer, he will help get it back, as it seems the items that you have on it are unable to be repeated or remade."
All right, we'll see what we can do.
He
We
nods.
can take a look into what we can do and do our best. If they can't remake those items, then I guess I'll have to see what I can do otherwise.
He nods at that and goes, "Oh, that last little bit of news. Reagan has asked me to speak on to the individual known as Rollerman as he looks amongst the four of you.
I gesture to the tall one.
The mate.
Oh, good news. You've had a son."
Huzzah!
He nods and goes, your wife, Drift, has informed
Oh,
us.
that one. Okay.
He nods and
Continue.
goes, he informed us of the heritage, and congratulations in the fact of now you're in the running for the king consort role of the entirety of the primordial lands. I hear the Genasi are wonderful people to rule over.
Okay. Well, I didn't intend for that. I didn't know they were
I golf
princess.
I
Oh,
give a
thank
golf
you,
clap
thank
too.
you.
I just look at him proud.
Also, not married.
Oh, well, that's not the news I was given. I do apologize as he kind of holds out the letter and to you and goes, the Regan Utham specifies here, the leader of the primordial. I apologize. He wrote Crusade on here, but I assume he meant the nation itself of the Imperium. They are. They say you are listed as wed. You are now second in line to the rank of basically heir. My understanding is the only one in front of you is a son that was born that has two children, but my understanding is that will change if your wife has any more.
Can I roll for how Genasi handle marriage?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to roll for this as well.
Would that-
What would I
would that
roll?
Give me a second. Give me a knowledge history.
Elves don't have marriage, right? Or do they?
Yeah, no. It is a cultural thing to typically for the males and females to marry. For those who are the strongest, to continue the line, especially those amongst the higher ranks of their society, like chiefs and chiefesses. Beyond that, the average, it's not as common, especially amongst those who choose to travel. They usually do it to get away from the tradition of just having children. So, to your own note, no.
Okay.
And then
What's this
for
marriage thing?
History.
19
Oh,
and
no,
23 on history real quick. Yeah, so give me a moment as I find my note. Yeah, so most commonly, Genasi do not wed without the head of the family making the decision, meaning they approve it. Most cases, this will come down to one of the four monasteries who typically will run it, which is what the nation is split amongst. And beyond that, when this marriage goes on, this is usually designed as an alliance between one of the major families, or in some cases, the focus of stronger offspring. Which means that basically, to your own knowledge, Cinder and James, the only way Rollerman became, or has been recognized is because of the fact that his son has to be quite capable as a child, as he has no family value for nobility.
So basically, Cinder understands it. The child has a lot of potential, so the family head said, "Yeah, he's in the family now."
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
I looked to
their
roll him
thinking
and
is,
just
yeah.
had his side. You've been adopted, my friend.
Oh,
What was the is the letter say what the name of the child is?
It does not. Specifically, it lists that the child is left unnamed until the father returns.
Oh, well. Okay.
As he kind of smiles, go ahead.
I look at the fact that now we have to go to the Genasi Emporium, and I look at James, who's a cleric that they'll specifically hate, and I look back at the letter.
I look to Cinder. I'm not leaving the ship when we go there.
He
Oh,
smiles.
you shouldn't enter the borders.
Bjorn smiles and goes, "It's actually the perfect time. Next year, or this year, we're seeing the Kon Sahene. The offering, for those of you who don't speak amongst the primordial languages. It's the time when they offer up a prince, a prince elect, to be sacrificed to their beliefs. It's to guarantee a longer and happier society. So, at least that's what their belief is."
Am I considered a prince?
Looks at you and goes, "I mean, I don't know much about politics. I think you're at best considered a prince consort or a king consort. I think you have to be of royal blood to be a prince proper."
Okay, good. So I can't be sacrificed. That's great.
Oh,
You're
no,
someone-
no. Oh, no. They'll sacrifice you more as an extra rather than as the main event.
Oh, an extra.
Yeah, no, they're probably gonna kill your son.
Oh.
Oh, no, no, no. Not likely. If she ends up the elected, most likely the son will end up going on to rule, or he'll be used as a marriage token to guarantee peace. It's very common amongst the lands we've been starting to see. Regan Utham even did it with that one, some chick named some giantess named the Pretty, I believe.
Ah, yes. The Blom, yes.
He nods and goes, "Yeah, I think that was her name. They've got a child on the way, or some of the rumors are stating."
Oh, on with it. That's good for Regan Uthan, then. I should probably make sure a gift is prepared.
He nods and goes, half of that what's going is a gift for the Regan from Og Brightwing. This is the third gift we've sent."
I'll probably make something for the child themselves. Uncle, I may need your assistance with that. I have an idea that I think would be appreciated.
Your ideas always concern me.
Just simple blocks like my father gave me when I was young.
Get me the materials. I'll craft whatever.
I just would rather them be made of stone for a giant, I do believe, because I don't think I can carve that big of wood.
I mean, Frost Giant, why don't you do a mix of ice and chance it's not melt, stone? Be pretty symbolic.
That seems like a good idea.
Maybe you could work it on the trip.
Yeah, sure.
Guess we'll have to visit the Genasi lands at some point. Hopefully before the sacrifice, and then not like
Yeah, so
during.
this year. That's probably just become our next location to go to.
Just for
Yeah.
a quick stop, not saying that long.
We're gonna be there right on the border. We'll have them meet us, and then you can go name your child, and then
Oh,
come back.
wait. Nephew, I have bad news.
Yes?
Remember the guy that was hunting us and I got him to go somewhere else?
Which one?
The scary one?
That doesn't slim it down very much.
The one in Velcomen? The only one recently?
Yes?
I sent him there.
As James tries to contemplate which big bad guy that.
No, it immediately clicks.
Okay, I didn't know if you had caught on still, or if you were still
I
trying to
caught
figure it
on
out.
to it. The really scary one, Meadmancer, got it. Fucking. Also, that brings us back onto the ship. There might be new information found as we travel, so I guess we'll see what happens when we reach Titan. Speaking of which, I know of a way to get us up into Hrimhurst's last hold much faster. It's just
Hey.
supplies might take longer.
If you got info like that, save it till we're there.
Well, I know Rollman knows, but I'm not sure you do, and I know Justophilis does
Know
not.
what you're talking about. But like most info, you share it, the enemy might learn about it, and then guard it.
Bjorn nods at that and goes, "I once told one of my young soldiers that I had gained the frost crab, and I tell you, now every time I turn my back, all they call me is Frosty the Crab Walker." As he kind of like lightly itches his inner thigh and goes, "It's just not a funny nickname but now it's all out there."
Do frost crabs count as a disease?
He nods up and down.
Hold on.
Can cure him of his disease.
I have removed disease. Hold on.
We'll get that dealt with for you.
I'm checking if it's a roll. It is not. It is not.
As you kind of lightly tap him on the hip, or on the thigh, he kind of looks up down at you and goes, like stops and kind of like stares at you and kind of goes, "What the?" Kind of pulls his kilt a little bit open and looks down and goes, "Oh my god!" As you see little blue crabs fall to the ground onto the snow.
You're
like
welcome.
not
Moving away from them.
He goes, "They're all dead. It doesn't itch."
You're welcome.
Just all of us threw up.
I dive on the
Dive?
crabs. Oh, all right.
We don't know this man.
I figured when that would happen.
Kind of steps over and out of the way and goes. Bjorn just kind of looks down, just kind of looks in surprise, and then kind of looks up at you, not kind of seeing the clear look of the thought process. Do I say something? These people just help me.
I just look at him. I just look at him and shake my head.
He's got a disease thing. I don't know.
That's weird.
As he sees him trying to get the little crab mouth to mouth, and looks at you and just kind of shakes his head and turns and starts walking away.
I'm gonna just keep walking, finding a position on the wagon train that's far enough away from Rain and Crump that I can kind of hopefully listen in, but not get stabbed.
You want to listen in to Rain? Was that what you saying?
Once he's gone, I just look at James and go, I think I earned us some goodwill.
You definitely did.
Chastophilus, unfortunately, removed disease does make them completely non-contagious, so there's nothing to gain. As you try rubbing them onto you, bring them into your cloak and they disappear, trying everything to get the disease, it does nothing, unfortunately.
But now I know of this disease, so there is a spell I can cast eventually to give you the disease.
Oh, contagion.
Yeah.
As you three kind of continue on towards the wagons, leaving Chastophilus for a moment to kind of be sad and mourn over the loss of these crabs. As you get closer to the front of the wagon, seeing that Rain and Crump Sr. have kind of set up on the front two wagons next to them. Crump Sr. managing to find himself a seat, kicking one of these small old lady giants off and taking her spot as he kind of sits down. One of the guards kind of looking to say something, but you see as one of his black armored giants kind of step forward, lifting up their mask, their helmet, and showing this dark purple face and these glowing yellow eyes. As the Frost Giant kind of cowers back and doesn't say anything, kind of finding the lady another spot on the wagon. Rain seems to kind of just take a stand next to the front wagon, not really doing anything as she just stands there. Give me a listen check, though, for the what you hear from Crump Sr. Sorry, go ahead, Roman.
Hey, James, how about you, stay at the back and not near Rain, at all? Because she wants to kill you.
We have to hear I'm trying more to spy on Crump than her, so...
I can be here if you want, and you can go somewhere else.
I'll fall back after a moment.
Yeah, no, you don't really catch
shit.
Yeah, other than the grumbling of the other giants who seem to say something, but you hear Crump Sr. not quietly speak in Infernal and then switch to Giant go, and I dare any of you to try and take my seat.
I'm just going to move back towards the middle of the wagon train and work with people, trying to make sure that everyone has space.
Right. As you kind of fall to the back, Rollman, are you also kind of falling back, or are you going to stay towards the front with
I'll
Crump
stay
in them?
towards the front.
Okay. Cinder?
Yep.
Where would you like... Are you going to stand towards the front, or are you going to stay more towards the back with James?
Middle, because when it's needed, I'm probably one of the scouts.
Okay. All right. As you kind of find yourself on one of the middle carts, Chastophilus, did you have a preference by chance? I see he is on mute and probably writing. I imagine he might be driving still, so I'll give him a moment as he continues to mourn over the crabs.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll find you a new way to get infected, buddy.
Yeah. As you lot kind of begin to get ready, the guard Bjorn kind of gives a ring out, calling for them to move, or the wagon to move out. The three snowbeards, kind of in their heavy, dark iron plate, begin to move towards, now having shifted up their armor, and seem to move towards following up behind Rollman slightly. Not menacingly, it just seems that they're a little slower and the armor's kind of hefty on them, Rollman, as they seem to kind of keep up around you. These three plated snowbeards that seem to have popped up that James was hoping were the Iron Warden. Each of them carrying what are looking like their armor being emblazoned with a giant shield. I want every disease that exists. It's fair. As Chastophilus starts looking for diseases amongst the commoners, kind of seeing if he can sense anything as he kind of goes down the line. These snowbeards kind of seem to take a position of 20 feet behind you. Roll them in, not taking out any weapons, but kind of walking next to one of the carts. Rain seems to stay about 50 feet in front at the front. Crump only about 20 or so feet in front of you. And then what looks to be Jin Tree, the Rakshasa, seems to fall back to the very back of the wagon, kind of seemingly keeping an eye on James that you all notice, but not moving, and kind of finding a small spot to sit on and staying there while the wagons begin to get ready. But as Bjorn gives the holler out, everything begins to move, and the wagons begin to take hold as the wagon masters begin to usher out the large boar-like beasts that are carrying or kind of pulling these massive wagons. As they begin to move out, give me spot and listen checks for all those who are going to be paying attention on the road. Yes.
I'm also going to make the point that we would have made sure that we had our stuff set aside to bring along too, because we had a lot.
Well, you have your. Is Cinder carrying the or dragging the three sleds with him?
I probably should. There's a lot of stuff on those.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll be following like the middle of the line with a bunch of sleds.
Yep, standing off on the side and following along. I mean, the roads are big enough to easily accommodate you and the wagons. So, all right.
My list is
spot and listen.
Okay.
My list is infinitely better than my spot.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm running 16 for spot, 18 to listen. This is nice.
Perfect. Okay. As you all begin to head out onto the road, it doesn't take long before about an hour of heading through the forest. The heavy limestone road is massive on either side. Those snow kind of beginning to pick up. A few footprints kind of seen heading back towards King's End, clearly showing signs of other guard patrols that have been kind of marching along these roads. As you lot begin to follow and head into the forest, following along the path about 2 hours in, roughly as it's about 9 p.m.-ish at night by this point. The sun long gone, not even having risen all throughout the day. The coldness now dropping to about minus 30-ish, with heavy wind and the snow continuing to pile. Though every time it seems to hit the limestone road, you notice it seems to be kind of almost magically shoved to the side. As you lot begin to follow along, noticing about an hour later into the march, the sounds of heavy metal moving, the sounds of shields being set down and slamming into stone, and then suddenly the sounds of a loud war horn can be heard, as you lot find yourselves looking to either side, split up amongst the wagons, and see what looks to be a large horde of giants coming towards you. And that's where we're going to end today's session. We thank you all for watching, we hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time for the party's big combat session.